Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
It's an age-old tradition, peanut butter and jelly, baseball, and Independence Day. Live from Red Wilson Field as the Hyannis Harbor Hawks look to sweep a home and away series against a powerhouse Y-D Red Sox team. Hello, everyone from the broadcast booth. I'm Max Schwartzberg alongside Graham Nash and Giovanni Collada. Happy 4th of July, and welcome to Harbor Hawks baseball. Well, it was an 8-inning, 3-2 win for the Harbor Hawks over these Red Sox last night at McKeon Park. A game called early due to weather, and a game, Graham, where the Hyannis pitching simply dominated.
It really did. Got off to such a good start with Richie Roman. He had three up, 3 down innings. It was really only the second where he had that blemish. Will Baker hit a double. Dean Carpentier hit a 2-run blast, and that's how Y-D got their 2 runs. But other than that, it was a really, really impressive start from Richie Roman. And then how about Chandler Dorsey? He came in and delivered 2 fantastic innings as well. Zach Edwards, he came in the 8th and got 3 strikeouts. So really impressive stuff from the guys on the mound. And for a team that has had the best batting average in the Cape Cod Baseball League for a while now, the pitching is what has been the issue. That's what they need to pick up.
And talking about that batting average, it has dipped over the last couple games, but Gio, it seems like the offense is beginning to return to its old form.
And that dip in average largely due to struggles with runners in scoring position, Max, across the Harwich tie this past Tuesday, and then a game at Red Wilson Field against the Red Sox this past Sunday, one of the last 19 entering last night's game, and they rectified it, Max. Towards that 8th inning, you see a leadoff double from Ryan McKay with a 2-2 game. Then an RBI double on the next pitch from Jackson Willits. And they ended up 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position last night. And that's a big reason why they ended with the win, albeit in 8 innings.
Well, ahead of tonight, I was able to catch up with manager Mitch Carricker. Max Schwartzberg here with Hyannis manager Mitch Carricker. Coach, you're going for a home and away sweep of a very good Y-D Red Sox team. How do you want to regain the momentum and stay strong today?
Yeah, I think we look at it as a new day, new challenge. Obviously, new guys on the bump, a couple changes in our lineup there. So, just consistent approach at the plate, throw strikes on the mound and play good defense, and we'll see what happens.
And then last night, Coach, the pitching was unbelievable. Only 1 walk on the day. That's been an issue that you guys have struggled a bit with. What was so different about yesterday that kept you guys in the zone?
Well, I think all the guys we threw out there really had good feel for their pitches. Dorsey was as good as I've seen him in the 2 years that we've had him up here. He was really good. Richie had a great start. Really only made 1 mistake, and the guy put a good swing on it. It was fun to see Zach out there for the first time. He's got electric stuff and did a really good job.
And last time you were here at Red Wilson Field, you guys went 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position, but you guys broke through yesterday. How do you want to stay hot in that category?
Yeah, it's really on Rich Cogliano to get that figured out. I think our guys have done a really good job in the pregame and all that kind of stuff. We just really need Rich to step up.
Coach Cogliano, Sawyer Black in the lineup for the first time tonight. What are you looking for from him?
Some North Carolina magic.
All right, thanks, guys. Gio, let's stick with the pitching. Mitch Carricker was really happy with what he saw on the mound last night.
And it's because they lowered that walk number, Max, by so much. You look at the run rule loss to Katuitt entering last night's win over Y-D. You walk 7 Kettleers. What happens? Run rule loss. The night before that against Harwich in a tie, you walked 5 more. And so that's been a real point of struggle for this pitching staff that Graham, as you mentioned, has kind of not followed the batting order a little bit. And then last night you only walk 1 guy, and that's a big reason for why they were able to take the win.
And going back to the offense, there's going to be a friendly face we haven't seen since June 24th. Jake Schaffner back in the lineup, and our own Ava Fernandez caught up with him before the game.
Ava Fernandez here with Jake Schaffner. And Jake, this is your first time back in the game after 8 games being absent. How are you feeling coming in tonight?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Batting practice and ground balls have felt really good recently, so super excited to be back.
Yeah, and what have you kind of been working on this week in practice to kind of get you head back in the game?
Just kind of rehabbing my thumb, making sure it feels really good before I go back in, and just working on spraying the ball to all fields at the plate.
Yeah, and it's the 4th of July, big game today, playing Y-D again. And what are you kind of hoping to bring to the plate tonight after kind of having that absence here?
Yeah, I'm really just looking to cause havoc on the base pass, cause havoc in the box, and just be a ball player.
Well, good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Guys.
Graham, it's got to feel so good for Mitch Carricker to pencil Jake Schaffner in once again.
It really does. Jake Schaffner was on a heater right before he had that injury. In the 6 games that he played, he got hits in 4 of them, 2 of those being multi-hit performances. He also drew 3 walks, only struck out once, Max. He was doing such a good job of getting the bat on the ball, making contact, turning that into hits, turning it into opportunities. And then also, his defense was phenomenal on the left side of the infield all season long. He's starting over at third base tonight. So as much as Mitch Carricker is probably very excited to have his bat back, I'd imagine he's as excited to get that defense back over at the hot corner.
And speaking of a guy who's hot at the plate, Matt Miura back in the lineup after a night off, and our own Ethan Wax caught up with him a few minutes ago.
Ethan Wax here with Matt Miura, the outfielder for the Harbor Hawks. Thank you for taking the time today for this interview.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So you lead the team with 10 RBIs so far this season. What would you attribute your success to?
Just trying to do a job for the team, trying to get a run any way possible. So just trying to do whatever I can to help the team and help the team win.
And you played in the Big West. A lot of travel goes on. So how much of a difference does playing in the Cape Cod League have for you from a travel perspective with ballparks so close together?
Well, it's a lot different from Hawaii. Like, obviously here we're taking buses, and at Hawaii we have to fly everywhere. So it's a different experience. I've been to summer ball before, but I do like to travel. I do like traveling around on the bus with the boys and having a good time.
And in your 3 years at Hawaii, you've significantly improved year after year. So what are you hoping to get out of the Cape Cod experience?
I'm just hoping to meet a whole new brotherhood, meet a whole new guys that are all dogs at baseball. Just trying to get better at baseball out here, facing the best competition, so very grateful to be out here.
And how does the level of competition here compare to the Big West?
It's different, I'd say, but it's the same competition. It's all pitching. It's still the game of baseball, but it's different in different ways, how they pitch you, how we play the game. So more so the same. It's still baseball, but just a different style of it.
Thank you for your time today, and good luck, and happy 4th.
Thank you. Happy 4th, everybody.
Very much, Ethan. First pitch between the Harbor Hawks and Y-D Red Sox coming up in just a moment.
I think, Dean, they're allowing you to find your own success and your own true independence.
Dean is a whole group of all different kinds of people and communities.
Since I've come to Dean, I've learned a lot of time management skills.
Our community is especially tight-knit, and the majority of our students live on campus. And you are guaranteed 4 years of housing while you attend Dean.
Dean is just full of opportunities for you to embrace, to welcome, so you can change yourself to who you want to be and form your career for the future.
So go through that, all right? Think that way.
Be a bulldog. Have a bulldog mentality in everything you do in life, whether you're playing sports or in the classroom or just socializing around campus.
When it comes to delicious food, the best place to start is with great appliances. And Cam Appliances is your one-stop shop for any budget with brands like Thermador, Viking, Bosch, GE, and so much more. Cam Appliances, sales, delivery, installation, and service in the heart of your home with locations in Hyannis, Nantucket, and Hanover.
Back here at Merrill Red Wilson Field, we'll take you through the starting lineups for the visiting Hyannis Harbor Hawks as penciled in by manager Mitch Carricker. Matt Mura will lead off with Ryan McKay batting second. Jackson Willits will bat third with Gabe Camacho in the cleanup spot. Stone Lawless, he hit a home run here at Red Wilson Field last week. He's batting fifth with Sawyer Black making his Cape League debut, batting sixth. Hayden Federico will bat seventh with Jake Schaffner, as we mentioned, back in the lineup for the first time since June 24th in the 8th spot. And Charlie Bates rounds out the starting nine for Mitch Carricker. On the hill for Y-D, Brady Hamilton, one of the best pitchers in the Cape League, Graham.
He is. He's been phenomenal for Y-D early in this season. He's got a 1.38 ERA over his first 3 appearances, all of which have been starts. 13 innings pitched, and he's only allowed 2 earned runs. That is pretty darn good. And he's a rising junior at Wichita State. Had a really good last season with them. Punched out 63 batters, has only punched out 10. So he's about on pace with his innings pitched to get that number. He's a strikeout thrower. He's got nasty stuff, can blow it by you, can get you to swing and miss. And he's coming into a lot of confidence, having only let up those 2 earned runs over 13 innings.
Absolutely, and it's going to be really interesting to see how Sawyer Black does today. We thought we were going to see him on opening day in the Cape League back on June 14th, but Gio, it's got to be exciting. Better late than never, I guess you could say.
Yeah, Black had a tough spring at North Carolina, played in the first handful of games for the Tar Heels, then suffered a hamate bone injury in that lower hand where the wrist and the pinky meet, forced him to miss 26 games beginning in early April. That same fate befell Mike Trout in 2023, caused the Angels outfielder to miss 89 games, so Black making a quick recovery as he plays in his first game since June 6th. That was the NCAA Regional against Arizona for North Carolina. Exciting to see what he can do in his first appearance.
Absolutely, and as for the defensive positioning for Y-D in the field, AJ Soldra's in left field with Will Gasparino in center. Braden's out in right, third to first. Jack Bell, Cody Miller, Will Baker, Chris Akopian, and Garrett Wright, the battery for Brady Hamilton. And I got to say, guys, how lucky are we to be right here on Independence Day celebrating by calling a baseball game. It's a beautiful day out. It's not as hot as it was last Sunday when we were here, so that's got to feel a lot better.
Well, the weather certainly feels nice, and Mitch Carricker told me before the season, Max, when we sat down, that there was nowhere he'd rather be than a baseball field on July 4th, and he followed that up yesterday by saying that it just feels right. It just feels right to be playing baseball on our nation's birthday, and he's looking for a win to top that off as the ultimate present.
As mentioned, Matt Mura to lead it off, and I think an interesting discussion is he's the team leader in RBI, but he's batted either first and second all season long, and that's not something you would see because usually it's the cleanup guys who rack up all the runs batted in, but it's been pretty impressive to see the way he's able to plate runs, and he said when he was talking to Ethan that he just wants to play for each other, and I think that mindset has really propelled him.
Yeah, and I think it speaks volumes to how well the bottom of the lineup has done for Hyannis and for Mitch Carricker because they've gotten on base for Matt Mura, and he's so good at his ambush technique right now. He's so good at swinging at first pitches, getting on base, and his approach doesn't change. That's why he's still good when he's batting third, fourth, fifth, etc. in an inning.
Well, Matt Mura going to dig into the right-handed batter's box, face Brady Hamilton. Last time out was against Y-D. 1 for 3, but he swung at all 3 first pitches. Harbor Hawks won 3-2 yesterday in 8 innings. Thunder and Lightning ended that game prematurely, and the first pitch fastball's inside 1-0. First pitch right at 5 o'clock on the dot, so on schedule here on the 4th. Outfield straight away, the 1-0. Miura swings and taps one foul off of his leg, and the count levels at 1.
You're a really hot start to the season. Then went hitless in a couple games, now working a 4-game hit streak again, so he's starting to find that momentum.
Swings at the run 1-1 and skies it a mile high into shallow center field. Will Gasparino, the center fielder, calls and catches out number 1 of the game. So that'll bring up Ryan McKay. He played yesterday, but he had the day off in the field, was the designated hitter for Mitch Carricker, but back at his familiar post of second base. Was 1 for 4 with a double last time out. And he swings at the first pitch, grounds it up the middle. Arranging shortstop Cody Miller snags it, and he has no play. Ryan McKay reaches on an infield single, and 1 out, 1 on, and Jackson Willits coming up.
Credit to both sides there. That's a good piece of hitting from McKay to chase that one just a hair outside the zone. But how about the slide and grab from Cody Miller? Just doesn't get up in enough time to dish it to first for the out, and that a testament to McKay's speed.
So up comes the switch hitting Jackson Willits with McKay on first base and 1 out. 0-0 here in the top of the first inning. Harbor Hawks looking to sweep a home and away series against the Y-D Red Sox. Willits batting left-handed. First pitch fastball low, 1-0. A team-high 12 walks in just 10 games for Jackson. He was 2 for 4 yesterday with an RBI double in the 8th inning. And Hamilton checks over on McKay, and he's back head first.
And he's been so good at working walks, Max, but in the last 2 games, it's been his hitting that's been impactful. The other night against Cotuit, lone run for Hyannis with that homer in the first.
On the 1-0 pitch, Willits takes a breaking ball in the outside corner, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike apiece. Jackson, the Oklahoma Sooner, a rising junior, just 20 years old, but he's already married. McKay on first base, and another check over. He was leaning, and he's out at first base, picked off.
Scott playing with his food there, took a bit of a strong lead off of first base, and that's actually coming from Chris Hakopian at first. He gets back to the bag in time and has to drag that tag across. Max, he missed it initially as McKay's dive was short of the bag, but he gets it down for out number 2.
1-1 pitch is a fastball away, and the count swings in Willits' favor, 2-1. Hyannis was 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position last Sunday, and Willits rips it to left, and that's in for a base hit in front of A.J. Soldra.
Now batting for Hyannis, the first baseman from UC San Diego, number 10, Gabe.
And that hurts with Ryan McKay now going down on that putout, or that pickoff, I mean. That's been happening so often for Hyannis, a lot more often than I'm sure they would want, 3 times. And that's the second time in the last 3 games that it's happened. So something's happening over there at first base.
Well, Willits on first now with 2 outs in the inning. Scoreless here in the top of the first. Gabe Camacho swings at the first pitch and grounds it off the Hyannis dugout. They're housed on the first base side here at Red Wilson Field. Camacho was 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts last night. Did reach on a hit by pitch. That broke up a couple-game hitting streak. A long pause in the 0-1. Camacho takes a changeup down low. 1-1 the count. A UCSD Triton, local kid from Encinitas, California in San Diego County. On a 1-1 pitch, Camacho takes a fastball in the inside corner, and it swings in Brady Hamilton's favor, a ball and 2 strikes.
And go ahead, Grab. His 2 strikeouts last night, Max, kind of products of good at-bats. He was hit in that first inning you mentioned, also reached in that 8th inning.
Behind in the count, 1-2, and Hamilton checks on Willits. He's back standing. Camacho was with the team for a while, and then he was finally activated on June 22nd against Chatham, but he had been there since June 15th. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and he swings and misses on a ball in the dirt, and the catcher, Garrett Wright, will throw him out at first base. Hawks grab a couple hits, but they're not able to score. We'll head to the bottom of the first inning here at Red Wilson Field.
Your future begins at Dean College.
Make a difference.
Leave your mark.
Break the mold.
Be a leader.
Achieve unimagined heights.
Believe in yourself.
Make lifelong friends.
This is your time.
Your place.
Your home. Your Dean.
It all starts here at Dean College.
Harbor Hawks don't score in the top of the first inning. We'll take you through the home Y-D Red Sox batting order as penciled in by Scott Pickler. Braden Dowd will lead off again with Cody Miller batting second. Chris Akopian will bat third with A.J. Soldra in the cleanup spot. Avi Ortiz will bat fifth with Will Baker in the sixth hole. Will Gasparino bats seventh with Garrett Wright batting eighth and Jack Bell batting ninth. And Tsubasa Tommy getting the start for Hyannis tonight.
His first start of the season, his first start since the summer of 2024. That was when he was back with the Kenosha Kingfish. He went for 7 innings, allowed 7 hits, 2 runs, and struck out 1 in that last start. For Hyannis, he's made 3 relief appearances. He got a loss and a win. He's got a 1-1 record on the year. He's only gone for 2 innings. That's the longest that he has gone in a single appearance. He's allowed 2 earned runs over the course of 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 walks, and a pretty strong 7 strikeouts. So this is going to be a real test for Tommy. We've only seen him in the relief appearance position. He did not start any at Pima Community College in 2025, so this is going to be a big change for him. We'll see how he responds.
Well, as you mentioned, Graham, his season high is 2 innings. That was on June 22nd versus Chatham, and he looked really good. It was 6 up, 6 down with 3 strikeouts. But the former USC Trojan Braden Dowd will dig in. Has not found a new home for the next season in the transfer portal still. Charlie Bates in left field, Matt Miura in center, Sawyer Black in right, third to first, Jake Schaffner, Jackson Willits, Ryan McKay, Gabe Camacho, and Stone Lawless, the battery for Tsubasa Tommy. First pitch to Braden Dowd, swung on and missed. That was a good breaking ball down low.
That was a filthy breaking ball from Tsubasa Tommy. Really, really nice first pitch showing confidence.
Wind is blowing out currently at Red Wilson Field. And Tsubasa in the windup, and the 0-1 breaking ball is right on the outside corner, and he jumps ahead 0-2. Dowd had 10 home runs for head coach Andy Stankiewicz and the Trojans this past spring. On an 0-2, he takes down low in the dirt. Breaking ball, and Stone Lawless blocks it 1-2.
And Max, the interesting thing about this Y-D lineup being eerily similar to what the Red Sox sent to the plate yesterday is that Hyannis, regardless of the new pitchers, get to look at this again.
1-2, Dowd gets extended and sends it on the ground to second base. Ryan McKay ranges to his left and slings to first for the first out of the inning.
And you see the effects of it right there. Tommy going, maybe not to induce that ground ball on purpose, but certainly he's a guy that is not going to strike out people at the, an 18 strikeout clip like we saw the other day against Harwich. And so for him, it's just getting through these difficult outs. Cody Miller, Chris Akopian, A.J. Soldra, even throw in Ortiz in the 5 spot in there is the toughest part of this order.
Cody Miller swings and misses through the first pitch curveball. I got to say, Graham, that looks really sharp so far.
It really does. He's doing such a good job starting it over the heart of the plate, and then it just dives. It just moves so far down and in. He's got a really, really strong breaking ball. See if he can match it with the fastball.
Miller tied for a team lead with 2 home runs. On the 0-1, he takes outside. Was 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts last night.
And then Tommy, to talk about that curveball's got it around 76, 78 miles per hour. It gets up to the 80s at its peak max. That's to go along with the slider at 81 that he uses 65% of the time.
Here's the 1-1, and it's on the inside corner. Really good front door pitch. And Tommy in the driver's seat, 1-2.
I feel like this is the earliest we've seen Tommy really have command of the zone. In his relief appearances, it feels like he's gotten behind really quickly, but he's been ahead ever since he stepped on the mound.
Ahead 1-2, and the pitch is down in the dirt. Miller thought about it, but he checks his swing. So the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes here in the scoreless bottom of the first inning. on the 4th of July. Beautiful night here at Red Wilson Field. Miller in at 259, OPS at 761. And a 2-2 pitch. Here it is. And he swings, grounds it to shortstop. To his left, Jackson Willits throws against the grain and in time. Nice play.
Great play from Jackson Willits. Off the charge, nothing too crazy with the transfer, but he dips his right shoulder down, throws that off balance on the money for Camacho, and a couple of quick groundouts for Tsubasa Tommy.
So that'll bring up Chris Hakopian with 2 outs and nobody on. Was 0 for 4 last night and 0 for 4 on the 29th against Hyannis with a walk. So 0 for 8 on the season against this pitching staff. Here's the first pitch, and he takes it a little bit downstairs. Joe Gravina not budging, 1-0.
Chris Hakopian, the only player in the Cape Cod Baseball League who's played double-digit games to not have a strikeout yet this season. He is the hardest out in this league right now.
1-0, he takes off the plate, 2-0. There's that breaking ball from Tommy. 8 walks to 0 strikeouts. Pretty incredible. Does have 1 home run on the season. OPS at 648. Tommy looking to battle back. The 2-0 pitch is taken up and away. 3 balls and no strikes to Chris Hakopian.
And this would be a similar start that he had the last game he played against Hyannis here at Red Wilson Field on Sunday. Started with that walk, but that was the thing. Hyannis did a very good job containing him, and he still got to the bases.
The 3-0 pitch is a slider at the bottom of the zone. Hakopian was on his way to first base. He's got some words for Joe Gravina. Gets the bad news, but stays in the driver's seat. 3 balls and 1 strike. Scoreless here in the last of the first inning. Harbor Hawks looking to go 1-2-3. Tommy in the windup, and he comes home. Fly ball to right field, and no play for Sawyer Black. You got to love the way he battles back behind 3-0, brings it to a full count, Graham.
Yeah, really, really impressive. That pinpoint accuracy with the slider followed by another breaking pitch that he got Hakopian to swing really, really late on. He's pitching with a lot of confidence right now, especially with that breaker.
Outfield and no doubles defense. On a 3-2 pitch, Hakopian strikes out looking. Frozen pizza and a 1-2-3 inning for Tsubasa Tommy. We're scoreless as we head to the top of the second inning from Red Wilson Field.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
Hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
Both teams go scoreless in the first inning, and we're now in the top of the second inning. Stone Lawless to lead it off for Mitch Carricker. It'll be 5, 6, 7. Lawless, Sawyer Black, Hayden Federico with Jake Schaffner a chance if anybody gets on base. And Stone Lawless, last time he was here this past Sunday, went yard, Graham.
Yeah, he did. 1 for 4 performance with that home run. Was one of few, it felt like, to really get a good piece of hitting against this Y-D team at Red Wilson Field. But then he went 0 for 3 against Catuit on the second. So trying to refine some momentum, trying to find his swing that he came into the Cape League season with. Went 1 for 4 against Y-D, and before that, 1 for 4 at Orleans. So he got off to a really hot start. He's trying to pick it back up.
Well, Lawless, the Tennessee Volunteer.
Check, right fielder number 34, Sawyer Black.
Two hits for the Harbor Hawks in the top of the first inning, but they were not able to score, and Lawless attacks the first pitch, grounds it foul outside the third base line, 0-1.
But that scoreless frame, Max, it did include those 2 hits on 2 very good pitches from two very hot hitters, the same two that worked for that go-ahead run in the 8th inning of yesterday.
Lawless swings and skies one on the left side of the infield. Jack Bell, the third baseman in foul territory, makes the catch for out number 1 here in the second. With that, that'll bring up Sawyer Black, the season debut, and a much anticipated one as well. A rising sophomore at UNC Chapel Hill. A 977 OPS in limited playing time. 16 games this past spring for the Tar Heels. First pitch misses down low, 1-0.
And the thing that really sticks off the page to me, Max, about his time at North Carolina this season, he made 4 pinch hitting appearances.
As he takes a strike on the outside corner and the count levels at 1.
And in those 4 appearances, he got a hit in 3 of the 4. That to me is such a hard job, pinch hitting for someone, because you have no momentum.
Takes a 1-1 down low, and that actually hit him. Sawyer Black heads to first base. Joe Gravina, no contesting. A hit by pitch with 1 out of the inning, and Hayden Federico coming up.
Not too shabby for Sawyer Black to start your Cape League career. Early appearance to the base paths in a count we saw Brady Hamilton just lose that zone with the breaking ball.
We were all playing catch before the game, and Sawyer Black briefly talked to me. He's like, "Did you play in high school?" I was like, "Yes, I did." He's like, "I could tell by the way you throw." I was like, "Thank you."
Wow.
Cool guy. Already scoring points with Max. Black on first, Federico at the dish. And the first pitch fastball is swung on and hit in the air left field. A.J. Soldier in foul territory still going, and it is out of play. He ran out of the field of play. He did make the catch, but it's still out of play. Across the point of no return down there. So it's a long strike number 1.
Yeah, he took that one into the Y-D bullpen all the way by the net on the third base side. And obviously no replay review here on the Cape. He thought he had it. So did his bullpen. But Joe Gravina makes the call from a long way. And, yeah, he went tumbling into that bullpen, Max.
Federico, a switch hitter, batting left-handed. 1 out, 1 on. And an 0-1 pitch is ripped up the middle to the shift. Nice stop by Cody Miller, but nobody was covering second base, so he's only got 1 play, and that's at first. A 6-3, no double play as Black takes second, but now with 2 outs in the inning.
It's a couple of really nice plays at second base from Cody Miller. You saw that slide that, unfortunately, Ryan McKay advanced on. And then here, he takes a weird hop off the infield grass. It looks like it grazed a piece of the mound, and he's got to use that short hop that we talk about all the time, Max. You tuck your mitt into your torso, and he gets retribution there.
Jake Schaffner, for the first time since June 24th, takes a curveball outside, 1-0. Jake was hit in the wrist and had to leave the game early, and has just been rehabilitating ever since. It's really good to see him back. Takes a 1-0 pitch away, and 2-0 the count now in the driver's seat in front of Brady Hamilton.
And he missed 8 games. You don't see a lot of guys, especially given that this is a very developmental league for personal success, take out 8 games and then come back to play.
On a 2-0, he fouls it straight back to the screen. Schaffner, a prolific average guy, hitting .353 in those 6 games for the Harbor Hawks, but at college hit over .350, and that was at North Dakota State, and he'll be transferring to UNC and become teammates with Sawyer Black this upcoming fall. On a 2-1, Schaffner takes a fastball on the outer half. Count runs even at 2-2. Scoreless here in the top of the second inning. Hyannis threatening with a runner in scoring position for the first time tonight. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Schaffner takes down and away, and the count runs full.
Well, he had those 3 walks to 1 strikeout over his first 6 games. Has got a really good eye. Has used it in his first plate appearance.
Black on second. Brady Hamilton takes a look back. Now the 3-2. Schaffner slaps it foul over by the Y-D dugout third base way, and will do it again.
This is where he's really good in loaded counts, especially when you see balls outside the zone, Max. Plate protects so well for a lefty.
Here's the 3-2 again, and Schaffner swats it foul off to the left out of play. The battle continues. And from the pitcher's perspective, this has got to be so frustrating for Brady Hamilton, who's making really good pitches, trying to paint the corners, and Schaffner just waiting for a pitch that he can drive and go gap to gap.
But not afraid to try and swing at something.
Another full count pitch. Schaffner hammers it in the air left field. A long run for A.J. Soldra and Jack Bell, and nobody's got to play.
And that's the 8th pitch of the at-bat. They say that the longer you're locked into an at-bat, the more it favors the hitter. And Schaffner has made contact with all 3 of the last pitches that he's seen.
Hamilton's 3-2 once more. Schaffner, another foul ball off of his leg. Garrett Wright behind the plate was out like a cat trying to get that one and sell it to Joe Gravina behind the plate. But that will now make it a 10-pitch at bat coming up. It's been pretty remarkable.
Sure doesn't look like he's missed 8 games.
On a 3-2 pitch, Schaffner takes downstairs, ball 4. The first walk of the day issued by Brady Hamilton in Y-D pitching. And the Harbor Hawks got 2 on and 2 out for Charlie Bates.
Such a professional plate appearance for Jake Schaffner. Did such a good job working the count, battling, saw 10 pitches, fouled off 4 of them. And like you said, Gio, doesn't really look like he's skipped a beat.
Well, Charlie Bates looking to bounce out of a really tough slump. And he starts this at-bat strong, takes a look at a curveball downstairs, 1-0. He's 0 for his last 13 with 10 strikeouts. And he rips this one down the left field line. That is caught by A.J. Soldra. Well, Charlie Bates hits it hard, but unfortunately towards a Y-D player. We'll head to the bottom of the second inning from Red Wilson Field, scoreless.
You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Back here at Red Wilson Field, scoreless now in the bottom of the second inning. Tsubasa Tommy enjoyed a 1-2-3 inning, and he did something a lot of guys could not do. He struck out Chris Hakopian, his first strikeout this summer, that is for Hakopian, in now 62 plate appearances.
That's unbelievable. At Maryland, he had really good numbers as well, but not that good. I mean, such a strong start to the season. Chris Hakopian, he's such a hard out to get because he doesn't really expand the zone, kind of like Jake Schaffner in the top of the second inning just a half a frame ago. He did such a good job battling. Chris Hakopian is a very similar player. He does not swing at pitches that he doesn't truly think he can hit.
A.J. Soldra, the left-handed hitting left fielder, up for the first time tonight. He's 0 for 7 with 3 strikeouts against Hyannis this summer. Was 0 for 3 yesterday and 0 for 4 on Sunday. Tommy working out of the windup. And his first pitch is a breaking ball on the outer half, 0-1. It's really looked good with the first pitch strikes.
Yeah, the only time that he fell behind was to Chris Hakopian, and ironically, that the one strikeout.
He fell behind 3-0, and then, as Graham mentioned, struck him out. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and it's a ground ball to shortstop. Jackson Willits plays it on a high hop, throws to first in time for the first out of the second inning.
Well, Jackson Willits has been busy over there. His second piece of action in this young ball game, but that's just got to give Tsubasa Tommy so much confidence. When the left side of your infield is playing well and making those outs that look routine, but you never know the bounce that they're going to get. That has got to give the pitcher, it does give the pitcher a lot of confidence to throw harder and be more aggressive, be more out there with some of their pitches.
Avery Ortiz, the designated hitter for the first time today. And the first pitch is taken at the knees. Good slider, 0-1.
And we saw, when we last saw Tommy this past Saturday against Falmouth, it was that 65% usage with the slider. Haven't seen it a ton here today, Max. Leaned heavy on the curveball so far, and it's worked.
On an 0-1 pitch, Ortiz swings and misses through another slider. He doubled up right there. And Tommy trying to get strikeout number 2 of the day. The strikeout to Hakopian was looking, but he's checked his swing, but it was still on the call. So a backwards K. 3 groundouts and 1 strikeout through the first 4 batters. Now the 0-2 pitch from Tommy, and it's down low. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Avery Ortiz out of Oklahoma State. Ortiz 7 for his first 25 in 7 games this summer with the Red Sox. Tommy ahead in the count, 1-2. The offering is swung on and missed. Blew a fastball by him. There's strikeout number 2 of the day. So far, 5 up, 5 down for Tsubasa Tommy.
He looks so comfortable atop the mound, and Max unafraid to throw any pitch in any count tonight. How about go with a fastball with the guy that got the 2 RBI single to end the game the last time these two teams played here at Red Wilson Field. No fear on the bump from number 2.
Up comes the left-handed hitting Will Baker. Was 1 for 3 with a double last night against Hyannis at McKeon Park. First pitch, he takes a little bit downstairs, and Tommy falls behind 1-0.
Tommy going back to that slider. That clearly is his comfortable pitch right now, but he's also thrown that curve, the breaking pitches. They have looked so good.
Baker's played in a team-high 16 games with the Red Sox this summer. A 196 average, but 2 home runs and 2 doubles. Takes a look at the 1-0 up and away, and Tommy falls behind 2 balls and no strikes. Going to have to dig himself out of the hole. He did do it against Chris Hakopian. Tommy in the windup, and the 2-0 breaking balls down low. 3 balls and no strikes, and Hyannis only walked 1 last night, and that was kind of the big difference from what we've seen over the last few games. It's been a theme. Hyannis Harbor Hawks pitching, they've struck out a lot, but they've walked a lot. Last night, they struck out a lot less, but they walked less, and they had the favorable 3-2 win as a result. The 3-0 pitch is well downstairs, and that's a 4-pitch walk to Will Baker.
Y-D's first base runner, so now Tsubasa Tommy gets a chance to respond. How does he do with the runner over on first base? He's allowed a couple earned runs already this season, so it's not like he's never worked in the Cape Cod Baseball League with runners on base, but this is his first time doing it as the starting pitcher.
Well, the 6'6" Will Gasparino digs in against the 5'7" Tsubasa Tommy, and Tommy wins the first pitch, a strike at the bottom of the zone, 0-1.
Yeah, Tommy allowed a home run on the second batter he faced last Saturday at Falmouth to Kent Schmidt, and then retired 5 of the next 6 he faced.
Here's the 0-1, and a big swing and a miss from Will Gasparino. There's that slider once again. Tommy jumps ahead, 0-2. We didn't see Gasparino last night, but he did play on Sunday. He went 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout against Hyannis. Baker on first with 2 outs in the inning. Scoreless here in the bottom of the second. And the 0-2 pitch is on the inside corner. Strike 3 called. Tsubasa Tommy with 3 strikeouts on his day so far. We'll head to the top of the 3rd inning. We're scoreless at Red Wilson Field.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They are ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. so you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
Back here in the top of the third inning here from Red Wilson Field. It'll be top of the order due up for Mitch Carricker, Matt Mura, Ryan McKay, Jackson Willits. Anybody gets on, Gabe Camacho will have a chance. So far, Hyannis has left three on base in the last 2 innings, but they put a real threat back in the second, but a hard line out from Charlie Bates ended it, but it was a really good swing.
It was, and it's got to feel good for Bates to at least make that kind of contact because he's been striking out pretty consistently over his last couple appearances. And a good start for Hyannis bats. Only the 2 hits, but Sawyer Black got hit by a pitch. Schaffner worked a walk. So it comes back to the fact that they're always able to find ways to get on base even when they aren't getting hits, but a good sign for them that they can get the hits and still are able to work those walks.
So Hyannis flips the order for the first time tonight against Brady Hamilton. Matt Mura led off the game with a fly out to Will Gasparino in center field. And he rips the first pitch towards left center field. On the run, Soldier, he won't get it, and it gets by him. Mura around first. He hesitated. Now he'll throw the brakes on and head back with a leadoff single on the first pitch of the inning here in the third.
How many first pitch swinging at-bats have we seen from Matt Mura? We saw 3 of them the last time he played against Y-D, and there's another one here. Just jumps on the fastball, does not miss his spot. That's what he's so good at, and that is why he's the spark plug for a lot of Hyannis' scoring frames.
So Mura aboard with the 3rd hit of the day for Hyannis, and Ryan McKay at the plate. He picked up the first hit back in the first inning. Chops the first pitch of the AB, fouled on the first base line. McKay was picked off after that single. Kind of a theme of this season, just the way that the Harbor Hawks continue to attack early in at-bats, and it's really paid off. I mean, they lead the Cape League in batting average.
They were great in the first innings before this week, and even since yesterday, they struck early as well.
Starting to stop for Mura, and the 0-1 misses up and away, and the count levels at a ball and a strike apiece to Ryan McKay, the Michigan State Spartan. McKay, a team-high .354 batting average. Second in the Cape League behind Josiah Ragsdale. A check over on Matt Muir. He's back with a head-first dive. Entering this game as a team, Hyannis hitting .253. OPS at .728. Another check on Mura, and he's once again back head-first. And that's taking into account the last couple of games where the Hyannis offense has slowed down, but as we saw last night with the 3-2 win, starting to speed up again. Scoreless here in the top of the third inning. Hyannis with the runner on base and nobody out. On a 1-1, McKay has to wait. Another throw over to Mura. That's now the 3rd check on him. Of course, no disengagement rule on Cape Cod. There is a pitch clock, however. Hamilton comes set. Now he fires the 1-1. Mura's on the run. The pitch is a ball, but he'll throw the brakes on. Another starting to stop, a 2-1 count. And it looks like Mura just getting into the head of Brady Hamilton, and it's working. He's kind of missing the zone pretty well. He's missing the zone pretty large right here.
Yeah, and Mura, he's stolen 5 bags already. He's only been caught once, so that also doesn't help Hamilton.
Making another check on Matt Mura, and he's back head first.
We've also talked about how Matt Mura runs with so much effort. It's always 100% with him. So if he's going, you have to be perfect as a battery to get him out.
2-1 pitch, he's running. The pitch is fouled off into the dugout by Hyannis' side on the first base way. Hit and run action for the Harbor Hawks and Mitch Carricker right there. The count evens up at 2 balls in, 2 strikes to Ryan McKay. Hamilton entered this game with a 1.38 earned run average in 13 innings. He has been lights out. On a 2-2, McKay takes downstairs, and the count runs full. And this is one of the reasons why McKay leads the team in batting average. His plate appearances are just so professional. He's only looking for pitches he can drive.
Very similar to what we saw from Jake Schaffner in the second inning.
Muir's running on 3-2. McKay grounds it back to the pitcher, Hamilton. He goes to second for one, in time, on to first for two. 1-6-3, despite the stolen base attempt, and that quells the leadoff single for Matt Mura.
Not every day you see a 1-6-3 double play, but that's exactly what it takes for Mura to be out at second and for them to flip the double play at first base. Just an unlucky swinging chopper for Ryan McKay.
And how about a really, really well done play by Brady Hamilton? It's rare that you see a pitcher react that fast.
Jackson Willits takes ball one up and away, 1-0.
But he did such a good job, was so aware of the situation, and just popped right around, made the throw to Cody Miller.
Base is empty and 2 outs, and Willits swings through the 1-0 fastball. A ball and a strike to the Hyannis shortstop. Willits singled back in the first inning. 1-for-1 for the Oklahoma Sooner. Takes a look at a pitch down low, and the count swings in Jackson's favor. 2 balls and 1 strike. We're scoreless here in the top of the third inning at Red Wilson Field on this Independence Day. 2-1 fastball up and away. 3 balls in 1 strike. And Hamilton doing something he rarely does, falling behind of hitters here. Good hitters count to a good hitter. The 3-1 chopped to the first baseman, Chris Akopian. He picks it on the short hop and runs it to the bag himself for the final out of the inning. Hawks had a base runner on, but they ground into a double play. They go scoreless. We'll keep it right where we are as we're joined by our very own Ethan Wax.
Thank you very much, Max. The 4th of July not only represents barbecues and fireworks, but the traditional conclusion of the home-and-home series between the Harbor Hawks and Yarmouth Dennis in what has been one of the best and most competitive rivalries in the Cape Cod League. Each team had the best record in their division last season and are leading their division this year as we near the midpoint of the season. The teams split the first 2 games played this season, with each team securing a win in its final at-bat. Last year's game were full of similar drama, as 2 of the 4 games were decided in the final at-bat. Hyannis won the season series 3-1 last year, although its 7-1 win in the last game of this season had little impact on the results. This year's Red Sox team has been dominant at home, where it is the league's only unbeaten team with a 6-0-2 record. Y-D has averaged 6.5 runs per game and outscored its opponents by more than 3 runs per game. With the history of this rivalry, it would come as no surprise if there were late heroics. Now back to the booth for the bottom of the 3rd inning. Guys?
Thanks very much, Ethan, and it's always a joy to watch these 2 specific teams go out against each other. Of course, Harbor Hawks and Y-D, they're both very good every single year, as Ethan mentioned. First in the East last season, first in the West last season for Hyannis, respectively. And then this year, more of the same, at least so far, as we near the 20-game mark. I believe we're on game 16, 17?
Yes, 17.
17. Boy, it's flown by. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun. Garrett Wright, the catcher, will lead off against Tsubasa Tommy, and he's greeted with the first pitch fastball in there for strike 1.
And Tsubasa Tommy's looked so good. He's got that breaking ball, both breaking ball pitches, a curve and a slider working beautifully. And there, the fastball is pinpointed.
Head in the count 0-1 here, and Tommy delivers. A slider down low. 1-1 the count.
Tommy trying to go to the tunnel there, but just started a little bit lower than the fastball, so it couldn't get Garrett Wright.
Wright teammates with the guy behind the plate, Stone Lawless at Tennessee. A transfer from Bowling Green. And an even 1-1 count here. Tommy in the windup. Now the offering. There's that slider again, but it's down low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Tommy did walk 1 back in the second inning, but he struck out 2. 3 strikeouts on the day, And as we mentioned, Hyannis only one walk last night in the 3-2 8-inning win against these Y-D Red Sox. It was so impressive to see the way that they commanded the strike zone from start to finish. 2-1 front door pitch is inside. 3 balls in, 1 strike. That's now the third 3-ball count of the day for Tsubasa Tommy, but just the 1 walk to go with it so far. That was to Will Baker with 2 outs in the second inning. We're in the bottom of the third inning in a scoreless affair between Y-D and Hyannis. And the 3-1 is a fastball just downstairs. Joe Gravina did not like it, and that's ball 4 to start off the inning.
And that's only the third time that Tommy's gone down. First time, like you said, struck out Okopi, and second time Will Baker walked. But Tommy has the confidence to bring it back. He had the confidence in the last inning as well to strike out Gasparino after he allowed a walk to Will Baker.
Garrett right on first base with nobody out in the inning. And the first pitch, breaking ball, is in there for strike 1 to Jack Bell. Went to the back door right there. Really impressive to see Tommy have command over that slider on both the inner half and the outer half. Hawks looking for a little 4-6-3. Now the 0-1. Fastball up and away. 1-1 the count to the left-handed hitting Bell.
And based on that last plate appearance from Garrett Wright, he did not swing at any of the sliders that Tommy started over the heart of the plate and bent down and away. So Tommy, if he wants to use that slider, might have to use it by starting it away and bending it back into the zone.
1-1 pitch is fouled off to the left and out of play, and Tommy jumps ahead with a ball and 2 strikes. Wright playing in his 12th game, a 200 average so far in the early goings, was 1 for 2 last night against Hyannis. Was also hit by a pitch. Did not play on Sunday against these Harbor Hawks. Right on first base. The 1-2 pitch to Bell is launched to left field. Incoming Charlie Bates, he's there. And the Stanford Cardinal puts away the first out of the inning.
Good response for Tsubasa Tommy. That's the first ball that the Red Sox have actually gotten in the air. All 3 batters that have gotten out not via a strikeout have been grounders. Grounder out to Ryan McKay, 2 to Jackson Willits at short. That's the first time that Tommy has allowed one of them to get it in the air. A really good sign for the pitcher on the mound.
Top of the order, Braden Dowd for the second time tonight. Grounded out in the bottom of the first inning to start the day for the Y-D hitters. And he swings and chops the first pitch foul outside the first base line and falls behind 0-1. Dowd out of Clarkston, Michigan. Played 2 years at USC, and after a 10 home run season this past spring, has entered the transfer portal. On an 0-1 pitch, he takes a changeup downstairs, and the count levels at 1.
And Dowd is struggling a little bit more this summer with the wooden bat, a 176 average across 51 at-bats. He's drawn 5 walks, but has also struck out 9 times.
Long pause on the hill for Tommy. And the 1-1 pitch is ripped to right. That is a fair ball down the right field line. Let's look at Wright run. He's around third. He is getting the wave home. The throw will go into third base. And Braden Dowd is in with a head-first slide. An RBI triple. And the Y-D Red Sox strike first on the 4th. 1-0 here in the third inning.
That was absolutely ripped down the right field, the first base line. And it looked like Sawyer Black really had a tough time getting all the way over there. He was shaded a little bit towards center, so we had a long, long run over to the corner of right field. And a very speedy Braden Dowd made his way into third base, brought home Garrett Wright.
Cody Miller will come up for the second time tonight. He grounded out to Jackson Willits back in the first inning. And it just goes to show you how amplified walks can be. Dowd 90 feet away. And the first pitch to Miller is a slider off the outer half. 1-0. Now 1-0 Y-D here in the last of the third inning. Braden Dowd, who just hit that RBI triple, standing at third base. Corners are in for Hyannis. 1-0. Tap foul behind the plate. 1-1 the count. Tommy going to look to jump ahead, 1-2.
And that Dowd triple, the first hit of the game for Y-D. Hyannis, they've got 3, but they haven't really been that close to bringing in a runner. Just kind of speaks volumes to how strange the game of baseball can be and how, like you said, it's the walks, it's the other things besides hits that can determine a baseball game.
Count even 1-1. Miller shows to bunt. He stabs at it and fouls it off behind the plate. So 1-2 the count now. He probably won't try that again with the 2-strike count. Miller came into this game with a .259 average and a team tied for the team lead with Dean Carpentier with 2 home runs. And he swings and misses through the 1-2. There was that wipeout slider from Tsubasa Tommy. Strikeout number 4 of the day is a big one. Dowd still at third, but now with 2 outs in the inning.
Huge out. And like you said, now the sac fly can't do any damage. Tsubasa Tommy responding really well after that triple. Goes right back to a strikeout.
Chris Hakopian was the first strikeout of the game against Tommy. His first strikeout of the summer, and he takes the slider downstairs. And again, as we mentioned, that strikeout was his first K in 62 plate appearances this entire summer. He had a .502 on-base percentage this past spring at Maryland. The guy just doesn't strike out. It's pretty remarkable. Dowd still on third. 1 run home for Y-D. And a 1-0 pitch coming up to Hakopian. Takes a fastball at the knees, and the count levels at 1.
That's a very similar pitch to the one Tommy threw when it was a 3-0 count back in the first plate appearance where Hakopian thought he had a walk. Very similar situation. Hakopian was not happy with that being called a strike.
Outfield straightaway and no doubles defense. The 1-1. Reach for and tap foul over by the concession stands and off the window. Luckily no shatter for the glass there. And Hakopian falls behind 1-2 in danger of striking out again. Be pretty crazy if Tsubasa Tommy can make that happen. Now 8 walks to 1 strikeout after that first plate appearance tonight. On a 1-2 pitch, Hakopian taps it foul over by the on-deck circle where A.J. Soldier waits.
This is why Hakopian's such a hard out, because he can foul off baseballs for days, it feels like. He is so good at playing defense, shortening up his swing, choking up on the bat, and just playing defense at the plate, trying to get anything in play.
1-0 Y-D here in the last of the third inning, but the Red Sox still threatening. The 1-2 is ripped to right field in the air, deep and far, but it'll curl foul. Got good wood on it, but it was just tardy. Well, as I mentioned, that .502 on-base percentage at Maryland, but Chris Hakopian will no longer be there. He's transferring to Texas A&M, the Aggies. 1-2 the count, and the pitch is taken down low. There's that slider. Tommy. Hakopian was 0 for 4 last night against Hyannis and 0 for 4 on Sunday against these Harbor Hawks with a walk. So 0 for 9 now with a strikeout against Mitch Carricker's squad. On a 2-2 pitch, he rips it to shortstop, picked by Jackson Willits. On the forehand, slings to first in time. Nice play. Well, the Y-D Red Sox plate 1 on the RBI triple from Braden Dowd. 1 run, a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We'll head to the top of the 4th inning from Red Wilson Field. 1-0 Y-D.
When it comes to delicious food, the best place to start is with great appliances. And Cam Appliances is your one-stop shop for any budget with brands like Thermador, Viking, Bosch, GE, and so much more. Cam Appliances, sales, delivery, installation, and service in the heart of your home with locations in Hyannis, Nantucket, and Hanover.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else, Dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts. Milton Rents, your local source.
Back here at Red Wilson Field. I'm going to get that right one of these days. Top of the fourth inning, Gabe Camacho to lead it off for Hyannis. It'll be Camacho, Stone Lawless, Sawyer Black, Hayden Federico, chance if anybody gets on base. Now for the first time, the offense guys coming up behind in the game. It's going to be interesting to see the way that they respond with the adversity on the hill.
And they've done this very well all year long, Max. I mean, you look at the way that they, against Harwich, after going up and then falling down again to the Mariners, you level that game up to work the tie. And it's largely, yes, due to the pitching, but also due to the way they're seeing the ball. You change the approach at the plate. It starts with Camacho right here.
Camacho struck out swinging back in the first inning, and he takes a first pitch curveball in the dirt, 1-0. So far, the only strikeout for Brady Hamilton on the night. And the 1-0 offering, again missing downstairs. 2 balls and no strikes to Camacho. Camacho was 0 for 3 with 2 punch-outs last night, and the 2-0 breaking ball is right there on the back door. 2 balls and a strike to Gabe. On a 2-1 pitch, Camacho takes a fastball low. And a rare 3-ball count from Brady Hamilton. He did walk Jake Schaffner back in the second inning, but that was a 10-pitch at bat. So it doesn't really mean that he's wild in any sense. 3-1, Camacho hammers it into the shift. A high hop for the second baseman, Will Baker, who slings to first for the first out of the inning.
Well, Y-D's clearly done their homework. Will Baker was in a perfect spot to field that from Gabe Camacho. It came off the bat really hot, but got caught up on the infield grass, really slowed it down, and was a pretty easy play for Baker.
Stone Lawless for the second time tonight, and the first pitch fastball is at the knees, 0-1. Lawless popped out to Jack Bell, the third baseman, in foul territory to start the second inning. And on the 0-1 pitch, he taps one foul over by the Y-D dugout, third base way. So Brady Hamilton doing Brady Hamilton things, jumping ahead of hitters and getting into 2 strike counts.
And he works so quickly on the mound. I feel like that's also been tough for Hyannis in the last couple innings as he comes downhill so quick.
And he golfs the 0-2 pitch to shortstop in the air. Cody Miller, a couple steps onto the outfield grass, makes the catch. A quick first 2 outs here in the fourth inning for Brady Hamilton.
And this is kind of what we saw in last night's ball game. It was two early runs surrounded by a lot of really good pitching from both sides. If you get runs against either of these teams, it's going to have to come in short spurts.
Sawyer Black takes a first pitch fastball up and away, 1-0. He reached on a hit by pitch back in the second inning, so still has not registered in a bat in his Cape League debut. And on the 1-0 pitch, he skies one foul. Third base way, Jack Bell has no play. That one's into the stands, and a nice souvenir for a very luscious crowd, I guess you could say, tonight.
Certainly is, Max. And this day obviously so popular across the country for baseball, but especially here on Cape Cod with all the vacationers. It makes for a wonderful scene all across the Cape.
On a 1-1, Black swings through a curveball. That was a really good change of speeds right there from Brady Hamilton. He was way out ahead. Black, the former number 1 overall outfielder in North Carolina, number 3 overall prospect. And on the 1-2, he swings and misses and strikes out. A 1-2-3 inning for Brady Hamilton. We'll head to the bottom of the fourth inning from Red Wilson Field, 1-0 Y-D.
This week we've been working a lot with doing play-by-plays, just doing behind-the-scenes stuff with sports broadcasting, which I never really realized how much went into it, but it's been really cool.
They've grown a lot. I've never really done like a program like this before, so like seeing all the behind-the-scenes has like really grown.
I've learned how to really just gain confidence in my play-by-play speaking, and I've learned more terms here when it comes to directing and producing, and I've just had a great time with John Rook.
Doing the play-by-play stuff and all that, being with a guy like John Rook, understanding what like the major kind of entails of doing this camp just really a preview for what you do here at Dean or any other college doing broadcasting. So I'm definitely more prepared to make this a job of mine.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
Back here at Red Wilson Field now in the bottom of the fourth inning, and Tsubasa Tommy's day is done. Mason Russell, the left-hander, in there for Mitch Carricker.
Mason Russell making his second appearance of his season. The first time that he appeared, it was against this Y-D team at this ballpark on the 29th at Red Wilson Field. He went for 1 1/3, allowed 3 hits and 3 runs, all of which were earned, walked 1, did not strike anybody out. So it was a tough first appearance, and he's trying to change his fortunes, change his early season around with this ball game, in this ball game.
Well, Tsubasa Tommy, you got to give him his flowers where it's due. He's facing a really good Y-D offense, and he did his job. 2 walks, and one of them did end up resulting in a run. I know we always sound like broken records, but the walks have been an issue for Hyannis all this season, and it proves costly back in the third inning, but he looked really sharp out there today, Gio.
He sure did. Across those 3 innings he pitched, he got 2 walks, as you mentioned, Max, but fanned 4, just 1 hit. That was unfortunately the run he allowed on the triple to Braden Dowd as the third batter of the third inning. And all things told, Max, as you said, a great outing from Tsubasa Tommy. He got Chris Akopian out twice. That's nothing to sneeze at. And despite that triple, hopefully it's a lone blemish for him, a 1-run lead is workable for an offense, and so he did his job, like you said.
We'll do up for the Y-D Red Sox will be A.J. Soldra. It'll be 4, 5, 6, so the middle of the order for Scott Pickler. Soldra, Avery Ortiz, Will Baker, and Will Gasparino a chance if anybody gets on base. But Soldra, the left-handed hitter, for the first time going to have to go lefty-lefty tonight. And we've talked a lot ad nauseum this season about how difficult that is. So an advantage here goes to Mason Russell for Hyannis. First pitch fastball, fouled straight back to the screen, 0-1. And we saw Mason Russell here at Red Wilson Field on Sunday, 1 1/3, 3 hits. They were all the 3 runs were all earned and a walk. So looking for a little redemption after his freshman season at Arizona. Had a deep run in the playoffs, and the 0-1 misses in the dirt. Count even at 1-1. Soldra grounded out to shortstop Jackson Willits to lead off the second inning for the Red Sox. And on a 1-1 pitch, it'll have to wait. Russell steps off the mound, working out of the windup, as did Tsubasa Tommy. And this pitch is golfed to first. Camacho plays it on the high hop and runs it over to the bag himself for the 3 unassisted to get us started here in the last of the fourth inning.
A lot of ground balls from Y-D. They've put a lot of balls in play, but that's the 3rd ground out for this lineup. Hyannis is doing a really good job of pitching to contact. Those 5 ground outs and then a pop fly from Jack Bell in the 9 spot. And then 4 Ks to go along with it.
Avery Ortiz for the second time tonight. He struck out swinging against Tsubasa Tommy back in the second inning. He was the hero for these Red Sox against Hyannis on Sunday. The walk-off 2-run single. And the first pitch is downstairs, 1-0 from Mason Russell. So he was 3 for 5 on Sunday, as mentioned, the walk-off single, but 0 for 3 with the strikeout last night against Hyannis at McKeon. And the 1-0 fastball is off the plate, 2-0 the count, and the advantage stays with Avery Ortiz. Local guy, Oklahoma State, but from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the 2-0 fastball well up and away, not all too close. 3 balls and no strikes, and Mason Russell in danger of walking Hyannis' 3rd batter this game.
The walks have been the issues. That's what Mitch Carricker really wants cleaned up. Only saw 1 yesterday, but 2 already in this ball game.
On a 3-0, Ortiz swings and misses. Off to an excellent start this summer. 385 average, 967 OPS. And in the driver's seat, 3-1. Here's the pitch, and he takes well outside. That one gets to the backstop. So there is the third walk of the day for Hyannis, first issued by Mason Russell, and it comes with 1 out here in the 4th inning.
And this is a bit what we saw from him the last time he got to the mound here at Red Wilson Field, his only other appearance. A bit wild at times, especially when he tries to force hitters outside with breaking balls and fastballs. Look for him to find the center of that zone as he tries to challenge pitchers, or rather challenge hitters here.
Will Baker, who drew the first walk against Tsubasa Tommy, up for the second time. Going to have to go left on left with Mason Russell. Ortiz on first with 1 out in the inning. First pitch fastball down El Centro, 0-1. There has been 1 double play in this game, but Hyannis hit into it. Ryan McKay grounded into a 1-6-3 back in the 3rd inning. Harbor Hawks looking to go 4-6-3 right here. 0-1. It's grounded over Camacho down the first base line. That's a fair ball, and it runs into the corner. Ortiz is on his way to the 3rd. They're going to send him home. The throw goes into 2nd as he'll come in to score late. An RBI double for Will Baker. And it seems like the Harbor Hawks, if they had that throw come into first base instead of 2nd, they could have gone that to the plate.
They sure could have. That's just unlucky for Gabe Camacho at first base. He renders a good effort on a true Baltimore chop. It just sails over his head and into the corner where Black, yeah, Max, if he makes that decision to go down to first, Camacho's got a shot. Ortiz did give it a good run with some heads-up base running and could have been gunned out at the plate. Instead, it's a 2nd run for Y-D.
2-0 Red Sox here in the bottom of the 4th. And Russell spins off the mound and fires it to McKay at 2nd to check over on Will Baker. So now in back-to-back innings, the Red Sox with an extra base hit, RBI hit. Braden Dowd the RBI triple in the 3rd. Will Baker the RBI double here in the 4th. Russell takes a look back at 2nd. Now he comes home to the 6'6" Gasparino, and it's a breaking ball downstairs, 1-0.
And obviously now the goal for Mason Russell and for all of Hyannis' defense is don't allow a crooked number to go on the scoreboard. If Y-D puts up 1s consistently, Hyannis can fight back from that. It's when you see a crooked number up there is when it starts to get away from the Harbor Hawks.
On a 1-0 pitch, Gasparino swings at a breaking ball in the dirt, and the count level's at 1. We didn't see Gasparino yesterday at McKeon, but we did see him on Sunday. Was 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. Rising sophomore was at UT Austin, but now he's in the transfer portal. Russell takes a look back at Baker, and the 1-1 fastball is not going to count because that's a balk. Didn't come set, and Baker takes 3rd. Joe Gravina, the home plate umpire, made the call. So now a potential cricket inning 90 feet away for Y-D. A run in the 3rd, a run in the 4th for the Red Sox. Baker now at 3rd base with 1 out. Hyannis brings the corners in, and the 1-1 fastball is out the bottom of the zone, 1-2.
Gasparino seems to have a lot of trouble right now locating the breaking ball. I wouldn't be surprised if Stone Lawless just has Mason Russell keep going to that pitch, because Gasparino has either let it go by for a strike or has swung and missed.
On a 1-2 pitch, Gasparino takes up and away. There's that curveball just slipped out of the hands of Mason Russell.
It must be so tough to pitch to somebody this tall. Do you go low? Is he able to golf it out? Or do you go high at the hands like that, try to beat him with a likely fastball?
Count even at 2, and the pitch is chopped foul into the Red Sox dugout. A lot of times they say that the taller you get, it's actually a disadvantage to the hitter because the strike zone is bigger.
Right. I mean, look at the first pitch of the count. He misses low. That's near impossible for him to get if Russell throws it low enough yet high enough where he chases it.
Will Baker at 3rd base with 1 out in the inning. A 2-2 pitch coming up to Will Gasparino. The offering is ripped to right field. Incoming, and a nice stop by Sawyer Black. The runner will hold up at 3rd base. What a catch in right field by a sliding Sawyer Black.
Just a great effort and a good piece of hitting off the tip of the bat for the righty Gasparino. Black slightly shaded toward the right center field alley, so he had a long run there, timed his slide beautifully, and nearly dropped it on his way down, Max, able to corral it for out number 2, and a big one at that.
So Garrett Wright, the backstop, who walked back in the third inning, still has not registered an official at bat. And the first pitch comes in and hits him. So Mason Russell just a little bit all over the place so far in his relief debut tonight.
Now batting for Y-D, the third baseman from TCU.
Second hit by pitch of the game. First against the Red Sox. Sawyer Black was hit in the second inning. Now Garrett Wright hit in the third. Jack Bell, the number 9 man playing third base, will get his second look. Of course, only faced Tsubasa Tommy. He flew out to left field Charlie Bates back in the third. But he's got runners at the corners and goes left on left. The first pitch curveball's on the outer half, nothing in one.
Really good curve there after he had the last one against Gasparino that was a little bit high, kind of slipped out of his hand. He goes right back to the well and puts that one right over the heart.
0-1 curveball at the knees. And Russell, a nice adjustment after that kind of spell of wildness. Hit by pitch, then he goes 0-2 to the number 9 man. 2-0 Red Sox here in the bottom of the fourth. A run home again for Y-D. The 0-2 is chopped to shortstop. Jackson Willits charges it, throws it on the run. Low throw dug out by Camacho. Well, an RBI double for Will Baker gives the Red Sox a 2-0 lead. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on base. We'll head to the top of the 5th inning from Red Wilson Field.
When you need to dig, lift, move, cut, or just about anything else, then dial up the Rental Source staffed with equipment and construction experts. They'll help you get the right machine for the job and make sure it's delivered when and where you need it. With locations across New England and the newest and most reliable inventory, Milton Rents is your local source.
When I started teaching on the Cape 30 years ago, you could buy a house on a teacher's salary. But today, teachers, public safety officers, healthcare and hospitality workers, the people who make the Cape work, are struggling to find homes they can afford. And I really worry about the kids who will follow us. I think it's time we learn to do better.
If housing on Cape Cod matters to you, join us at capehousingmatters.org.
Back here at Red Wilson Field, now in the top of the 5th inning, Y-D Red Sox on top of the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, 2-0. Harbor Hawks going to look to change that with the bottom of the order, 7, 8, 9, due up Hayden Federico, Jake Schaffner, Charlie Bates, and top of the order, Matt Miura, a chance if anybody gets on base. Harbor Hawks now in the 2nd inning where they're not leading, they're behind, they're trailing 2-0 instead of 1-0. And it's going to be important, guys, for them to really start stringing together hits, but plating these runs. They've left 3 on base so far in this game through the first 4 frames.
That's 100% right, Max. And for Hayden Federico, this is a unique chance for him to lead off an inning and try to be the spark plug to that success. Hasn't led off a whole lot in terms of just leading off innings. Hasn't batted for the leadoff spot all year long. And let's see what the lefty can do now facing Brady Hamilton for a second time.
Federico grounded out to Cody Miller at shortstop back in the 2nd inning. Switch hitter batting left-handed once again. First pitch breaking ball on the outer half, 0-1. Hamilton's got excellent backdoor control, front door control of the breaking ball, and it's no question why he came in with a sub-1.3 ERA. On an 0-1 pitch, Federico takes a little bit off the plate. He tried to go back to that breaking ball, but that went too far outside, and the count levels at a ball and a strike apiece.
I think the most impressive thing about Hamilton's start so far is that he's only walked 1 batter. He's been down in a lot of these counts.
1-1 offering is ripped to third off the glove of Jack Bell. He'll recover and throw to first. It was hit so hard, the recovery was really easy, and there's out number 1 of the inning.
And it also caught Federico by surprise. When he hit it, he saw that it was right at Jack Bell, and so he kind of stalled and didn't make a run over at first. Got a very late jump, and so that also made it easier for Bell to get that throw over to first in time.
Jake Schaffner coming up for the 2nd time tonight. Has not registered an at-bat. He walked in that 10-pitch plate appearance, and he takes a look at a first-pitch fastball outside. Make sure you guys stick around in between this inning. On the 4th of July, we thought it would be fitting to be patriotic and try the famous Red Wilson Field Donut Burger. It'll be a fun one. Schaffner takes a curveball that catches the bottom of the zone. He wasn't in love with the call, and the count evens up at 1. Jake in at 353 on the summer. And the 1-1 pitch is downstairs. 2 balls in 1 strike, and a really nice spit on a curveball low.
We've talked about how Jake Schaffner has a phenomenal eye. That was a great take. 3 walks to 1 strikeout this season.
And 2-1 fastball spiked in the dirt. Nice pick on the backhand by Garrett Wright. 3 balls in 1 strike, and he very might well work another free pass right here. Formerly at North Dakota State, will be a UNC Tar Heel this upcoming fall. On a 3-1 pitch, he takes a fastball on the outer half, and the count runs full. 2-0 Red Sox over the Hyannis Harbor Hawks here in the top of the 5th inning at Red Wilson Field. And the payoff pitch to Schaffner, reached for and poked to third base. Jack Bell throws on the run and in time. Back-to-back 5-3s to get us started here in the visiting half of the 5th inning.
Hard to top that second inning at bat for Jake Schaffner. 10 pitches, he works the walk, and there he just jumps on a pitch that he probably could have laid off on outside the zone. And a busy inning for Jack Bell in the hot corner.
Charlie Bates getting his second look at Brady Hamilton. First pitch curveball down low, 1-0. That's now back-to-back at-bats that Bates has jumped ahead, and that has not, and he really hasn't been doing that during the slump. We mentioned he came into this game 0 for his last 13 with 9 strikeouts, and a lot of that largely due to falling behind accounts early. Taps the 1-0 foul outside the first base line, and the count is even at a ball and a strike. And it was good to see the line out, of course, nothing to show for it. Harbor Hawks left 2 on base, but it was hit very hard to the opposite field, just unfortunately right at A.J. Soldra. He chops the 1-1 to first base, ranging Chris Akopian flips to the pitcher covering for the final out of the inning. Well, as mentioned, it's burger time. We're halfway through this one. We're going to head to the bottom of the 5th inning, but before then, we are trying the famous donut burger. Burger here at Red Wilson Field.
And by the magic of TV Max, it's already cut perfectly for us to try.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Graham, let's see that. Show that to the camera.
Oh yeah. Here's the donut burger. I don't want to. I don't want to tip it over.
It's exactly what you think it is, folks.
It's a glazed donut. Oh, you want to go for this one? Glazed donut with some bacon, some cheese, and of course we got the burger.
Did I hear bacon on there?
There's bacon on here.
Is this not America or is this not America? On the 4th of July, this is America.
I didn't cut this one well. All right. Take your pick,
take
boys.
My piece of the burger here. I mean, wow, it is truly a donut burger. This is unbelievable.
The last time that Hyannis played Y-D on this field, a couple players tried it and gave it pretty good rankings.
Okay.
4th of July, donut burger.
Are we going at the same time?
I think we go at the same time. All right, cheers. Let's cheers.
One bite. Everyone knows the rules.
All right.
All right.
Wow. That is surprisingly good.
It tastes good.
That's really good.
I'm ashamed for liking this.
Honestly.
Honestly.
I feel a little guilty as well.
Why is it so good?
This is a vice of the highest order.
This is America right here. 4th of July.
Oh, I don't know what this is, but it's good.
Look at that.
Dude.
You got bacon, you got cheese, you got the burger, probably 60% fat, 40% lean or something. And then you got 2 glazed donuts on the outside. This is This is spectacular.
Is so good.
This is something. Do we have specific ratings for what the players gave it?
We do.
Okay.
Didn't Ray Velasquez? No, Gabe Camacho.
I remember Gabe Camacho.
Velasquez gave it like an 8.2.
I'm going for another bite.
What are you giving it, Max?
8.4.
8.4?
I'm going to go 7.9.
Boys.
Graham, you better not.
I'm going like 9.1.
Oh, my gosh. Graham.
Dude, this is so good.
High praise.
This is so good.
Braden Dowd will lead it off as we munch on the remaining donuts.
Do we have to call the baseball game? Can we just get these?
Dowd the RBI triple, and he chops the first pitch to Gabe Camacho. With some food still in my mouth, he'll run it over to first in time for the first out of the inning.
It's so good.
I wonder who thought of this.
Yeah, I know.
Like, who sat down and had the idea to say, all right, hear me out. We're going to take a burger, or rather a donut, and put a burger on it. And then we're going to throw some bacon in there for good measure.
They have 3 different kinds.
What foresight. There's flavors?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I'll tell you.
Cody Miller. First pitch fastball up and away from Mason Russell, 1-0.
There's this one. With the glazed donut, there's one with a Boston cream donut.
Oh, boy.
And then one with a jelly donut.
Oh, my gosh.
That would just get messy.
Could you have a heart attack when you're eating that? 1-0, chop to third base. Nice play by Jake Schaffner to his left. Slings to first in time. Camacho stayed on the bag.
Now batting for Y-D, the first baseman from Texas A&M, number 10, Chris Hakopian.
So 2 groundouts in Chris Hakopian will come up for the third time tonight. Struck out looking back in the first inning, grounded out in the third. Both of those were against Subasta Tommy. Only the first 3 hitters for Y-D faced Tommy twice, and he grounds one to shortstop. Jackson Willits on the run, throws in time. A 1-2-3 inning here in the bottom of the 5th inning for Mason Russell. We'll head to the top of the 6th from Red Wilson Field, 2-0 Y-D.
When it comes to delicious food, the best place to start is with great appliances. And Cam Appliances is your one-stop shop for any budget with brands like Thermador, Viking, Bosch, GE, and so much more. Cam Appliances, sales, delivery, installation, and service in the heart of your home with locations in Hyannis, Nantucket, and Hanover.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
We head to the top of the 6th inning here from Red Wilson Field. Harbor Hawks trailing the Y-D Red Sox 2-0. And top of the order, Matt Mura. For the 3rd time tonight, it'll be Mura, Ryan McKay, Jackson Willits, and Gabe Camacho. A chance if anybody gets on. A 1-2-3 inning for Mason Russell in the bottom of the 5th inning. And you got to think, a great response after the tough 4th.
It sure was. And Max, he didn't get a chance to respond after he was somewhat shelled in that lone outing here at Red Wilson Field against Y-D on Sunday. And so good of Mitch Carricker to let him go out there and try and get that 1-2-3 inning, which is exactly what he did. Induced ground ball contact on all 3 outs and show that breaking ball not quite as, I guess, lopsided as you saw in that first frame from Mason Russell.
Well, Brady Hamilton's still out on the hill. Or, excuse me, Derek Schaefer, the new pitcher. Hamilton's day is done, and he was really, really impressive. Went 5 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. He lowered his season earned run average to 1.
Wow.
Pretty crazy.
Very crazy. And now a tough task for Derek Schaefer to keep the streak clean, keep the zeros going up on the scoreboard. He's making his 4th appearance. He's got a 2-0 record, so someone that Y-D probably has a lot of confidence in going up. A 2.53 ERA over 10 2/3 pitched. Only allowed 3 earned runs over those 10 2/3. He's walked 4, struck out 9.
Matt Mura, 1 for 2 today, a single back in the 3rd inning. Swings at the first pitch and chops it to 3rd. On a high hop, Jack Bell slings to first off the line, and he has to tag Mura out. Kind of a painful tumble at first base. It's still a 5-3, and that starts us off here in the top of the 6th inning.
Not surprised in the slightest, Max, to see first pitch swinging again there from Mura. It's worked for him so well, and even though he grounds out there, the aggressiveness is his exact philosophy that's helped him be so good from the leadoff spot this season. It's exactly what Mitch Carricker wants to see early in the lineup, and exactly why he keeps leading off.
Ryan McKay takes a look at a first pitch fastball low from Derek Schaefer, 1-0. McKay a single back in the 1st inning, although he's picked off by then starter Brady Hamilton. Ahead in the count, 1-0. And the pitch is a little bit downstairs. Joe Gravina didn't like it. 2 balls and no strikes to Ryan McKay. At .360, that average on the season. OPS at .829. Ahead here, 2-0, fastball down the middle. 2 balls and a strike.
And this is we mentioned the test for Derek Schaefer. This is a really tough part of the order to have to do it in, with McKay, Willits, and Camacho due up after Mira.
On a 2-1 pitch, McKay rips it up the middle and into center field. A line drive single. Ryan McKay, what's new? A multi-hit performance. He's 2 for 3 now. And Jackson Willits, the tying run, back at the plate.
That's McKay's 5th multi-hit performance of his Cape League season. He's played 13 games, and he's had hits in 11 of those 13 with 5 multi-hit performances. An unbelievable start to the summer for the Michigan State Spartan.
Well, McKay went 0 for 3 on the second versus Katuitt, and that was his first time not reaching base since May 2nd, dating back to his college season at Michigan State. Jackson Willits, the Oklahoma Sooner, takes a first pitch breaking ball outside, 1-0. Willits 1 for 2 with a single back in the first inning tonight. Leads the team with 12 walks through 10 games. McKay on first with 1 out in the inning. Schaefer a long pause and a check over on Ryan. He's back head first.
Well, McKay got picked off in the first inning after a single, so I bet he's going to be playing a little bit more attention to Derek Schaefer, stay a little bit closer to first unless he's going to put his head down and try to dig out second base.
1-0 pitch is up and away. There was that fastball, 2 balls and no strikes, and Willits was 2 for 4 with an RBI double in the 8th inning last night against these Red Sox back at McKeon Park. Of course, the Harbor Hawks a 3-2 win in 8 innings. Game was called off early due to thunder, rain, and lightning. McKay on first, the 2-0 pitch. He starts and stops, and a fastball misses up and away. 3 balls in, no strikes to the switch-hitting Willits.
And Willits ahead here, but we talk about how much he walks guys, that he's top 5 in the league in that category. He hasn't worked a walk in his last 4 games all of a sudden.
On a 3-0 pitch, Willits takes a fastball high, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Jackson Willits, and on cue, Gio, there it is.
And it's just so characteristic from him. He hasn't needed to walk to be successful in those last 4 games. He's got a home run in that stretch. He's got the go-ahead RBI double last night, and here he's back to his old ways with the walk.
2-0 Y-D here in the top of the 6th inning. Hyannis with the tying run on first base in Jackson Willits. Camacho had an RBI triple this past Sunday here at Red Wilson Field back in the 8th inning. Was 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts last night against these Red Sox. First pitch up and away. Derek Schaefer struggling to find the zone.
And it's tough to pitch to all these guys as you want to if you're a pitcher, Max, because McKay works the zone so well. We see how Willits takes pitches, and Camacho's a powerful bat. You leave a ball in the wrong spot, it could be in the trees.
McKay on second, Willits on first. A 1-0 pitch to Camacho is launched. Right field. Braden Dowd going back to the warning track with room to make the catch. McKay will tag. The ball was hit incredibly hard, but just a little bit too high. Camacho just missed it.
Barely heard a sound, too, Max, and it was just flew and flew and flew. We saw a number of balls in the past 2 nights fly at McKeon Park. Here, not so much, as Camacho's a shade under it.
When I say with room, I mean barely enough room. That was close. Runners at the corners, but now 2 outs for Stone Lawless. Long pause on the hill for Schaefer. And the first pitch to the Tennessee Volunteers, a fastball a little bit away, 1-0. Lawless 0 for 2 with 2 pop-outs. Popped out to Jack Bell in the second at third and Cody Miller at short in the 4th. He homered this past Sunday against these Red Sox. A solo shot back in the 5th inning. And the 1-0 pitch is swung through. There's that challenge fastball from Derek Schaefer, and the count levels at 1.
Lawless behind it, but a big swing from the tall catcher. Saw the power on Sundays, you mentioned, Max, and that one a no-doubter as well.
McKay at third, Willits on first. 2 outs in the inning, and a check over on Willits. He's back standing. Not a lot of room for error and a heavyweight battle between Y-D and Hyannis. Y-D atop the East, Hyannis atop the West. And a 1-1 pitch coming up to Lawless. The offering is grounded outside the third base line, and Lawless falls behind a ball and 2 strikes.
It's a good breaking ball there from Schaefer that had Lawless real early, I mean. He just totally pulled that, barely got it on the end of his bat. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a similar pitch.
On a 1-2 pitch, Lawless will have to wait. Check over at Willits. He's back standing once again. In a game this tight, you would expect anything in the gap. Mitch Carricker probably going to try to send Willits home and risk it for the biscuit. The 1-2 pitch to Lawless is ripped to right. That's in for a base hit. McKay scores. Willits is on his way to third. An RBI single for Stone Lawless, and the Harbor Hawks cut the Y-D lead in half. It's now 2-1.
Right on cue, Max. There's another great piece of hitting for Stone Lawless. This time it goes off the end of the bat and goes the other way over the head of Chris Hakopian. And Willits with some hard base running to get to third. And now McKay, before he heads to the dugout, giving some advice to Hayden Federico.
So now Willits on third, Lawless on first, and Sawyer Black at the plate. He was hit by a pitch back in the second inning and struck out swinging in the fourth. Those were all against the starter Brady Hamilton. And the first pitch, breaking ball misses low, 1-0.
And again, Sawyer Black, a very good hitter, only played in 15 games for UNC before he suffered that hamate bone injury, but he got one hit, at least one hit, in 9 of 11 starts and 3 of 4 pinch hit appearances.
1-0 pitch is swung through. There's that good changeup, and the count levels at 1. 2-1 Y-D here in the top of the 6th inning, but Hyannis with the tying run 90 feet away at third base in Jackson Willits. Wind blowing left to right on the outfield. And the 1-1 pitch is taken downstairs. A snap throw back to third, and Willits is back standing. A rare snap throw back to the third. You don't see that all too often.
But it wasn't ill-advised, and a great throw from Garrett Wright. Willits nearly caught asleep along the third base line.
Sawyer Black ahead in the count, 2-1. Schaefer comes home. Black swings through a breaking ball. Count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
This is the biggest pitch of the outing for Derek Schaefer, and a huge at-bat for Hyannis as well. You can't strand him at this point.
2s everywhere. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on base. Willits on third, Lawless on first. The 2-2 offering. Down in the dirt. There goes Lawless. He'll take second base on the wild pitch. Now the Harbor Hawks with 2 in scoring position. Two Hawks looking to come home to Mama Bird at the nest. 3-2 pitch going to come up to Sawyer Black. Looking for a signature moment in his Cape League debut. On a 3-2 pitch, Black rips it down the first base line out ahead. The battle continues. And the Hyannis dugout alive and well. Harbor Hawks have cut the lead, the Y-D lead in half, but threatening to tie this game and take a lead. We'll do it again at 3-2. The pitch is fouled back. The battle ensues.
And back-to-back foul tips for Sawyer Black. And after each one, the Hyannis dugout getting louder and louder, knowing that the more pitches he sees, the more balls he makes contact with, the more it's going to favor him at the plate.
Jackson Willits at third. Stone Lawless on second. On a 3-2, Black slaps it foul to the backstop once again.
Jeff Luigi leading the charge in the dugout. He loves it, and so does the rest of the dugout. Sawyer Black got here only a few days ago, and it's incredible to see they've already adopted him into their team gel.
This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat. The payoff once more is hit in the air to right field. Braden Dowd on the run towards the corner, but it'll curl foul. As mentioned, Sawyer Black only played in limited time for UNC this past spring because of a handmate bone injury. The injury that made Mike Trout miss 89 games back in 2023 for the Angels. The 3-2 once more, up and away, ball 4. What a plate appearance for Sawyer Black, a 9-pitch walk, and the bases are loaded for Hayden Federico.
Second really good at bat from this part of the lineup. Jake Schaffner works a 10-pitch walk in the second, and now Black has got one of his own in a huge spot to load the bases for Hayden Federico.
2-1 Y-D here in the top of the 6th inning, but that can all change with one swing of the bat from the red-hot Hayden Federico. He's 0 for 2 tonight with 2 groundouts, but he had 2 hits last night against these Red Sox, including an RBI single back in the 2nd inning. Schaefer comes home, and the first pitch changeup misses downstairs. Federico in the driver's seat, a ball and no strikes.
And the dugout's still very lively for Hyannis, picking up right where they left off with Sawyer Black cheering on Hayden Federico.
And that will induce a mound visit from the pitching coach. The tensions are rising. A heavyweight battle, the beast of the East, the best of the West. And it's all coming to fruition here in the 6th inning. The bases are loaded with 2 outs. Federico at the plate. And a big ask for Derek Schaefer trying to navigate around the jam he's put himself into.
Yeah, 2 walks in the inning and 2 singles to go along with it. Started out really well, getting out Matt Mura pretty quickly. But Hyannis has just worked their magic. A couple hits, a couple walks. That's what they do so well, is create opportunities out of thin air. And those 2 walks have helped tremendously.
Bases are flocked with Hawks. Willits at third, Lawless on second, Black on first. Federico ahead in the count 1-0. Derek Schaefer only pitched a third of an inning this past spring at Arizona State. On a 1-0 pitch, Federico takes a fastball on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike to Hayden. All SEC freshman team. A prolific first season with the Ole Miss Rebels for Federico. Tied for the team lead with 2 home runs this summer. On the 1-1, he takes up and away. There's that fastball still missing. 2 balls and a strike to Federico. The tying run 90 feet away in Jackson Willits. But the Harbor Hawks looking for a little bit more potentially with the bases loaded and 2 outs. On a 2-1 pitch, Federico takes at the top of the zone. A delayed strike call from Joe Gravina, and the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jake Schaffner waiting on deck. The biggest pitch of the game coming up to Hayden Federico. With the bases juiced. 1 run home for Hyannis here in this 6th inning. Schaefer's 2-2. Is hit in the air to left field. Back goes A.J. Soldra towards the warning track with room to make the catch for the final out of the inning. The Harbor Hawks plate 1 on the RBI single for Stone Lawless, but they leave him loaded. 2-1 Y-D as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Now in the bottom of the 6th inning, Mason Russell's still out there for Hyannis. Harbor Hawks left him loaded. They did cut the lead in half, an RBI single from Stone Lawless. But Sawyer Black worked a 9-pitch walk, and Hayden Federico flew out to left field after a lengthy plate appearance of his own. And Gio, it's important for Hyannis to maintain the momentum despite a little bit of a letdown with leaving the bases loaded.
It is. It's a sour ending, but still not anything to discredit, as you said. The fact that they played that first run across, that is just as big, even if Y-D gets a run back here. Graham mentioned this earlier, that if you avoid the crooked innings, if you get, you don't, as long as you start letting up 3s and 4s on the scoreboard, if you limit them to 1, these bats are powerful enough to get them back from any reasonable deficit of 1 or even 2 runs.
AJ Soldra will come up for the 3rd time tonight. He was the first Red Sox to face Mason Russell. Of course, he came in the bottom of the 4th inning. Settled down after that tough 4th with a 1-2-3 5th. Left on left, first pitch fastball upstairs, 1-0.
And that 5th inning, Max, for Mason Russell was really big for his development after a shaky 4th. Goes 1-2-3, as you mentioned. Let's see how he responds to that.
1-0 pitch, fastball up and away. Both pitches not all too close, so not a good sign, at least early. Of course, only a 2-pitch sample size. Nothing statistically significant, but
and as we've seen, Max, a response to the 1-2-3.
2-0. Swatted foul off to the left and out of play.
That response to the 1-2-3 is just as important as the response to the shaky inning. Yeah, you've got a good frame to follow it up, but how do you continue that? How do you maintain that momentum like you started the inning discussing? That extends to the pitching side as well.
2 balls and 1 strike. Russell looking to climb back in this at-bat, and he gets a ground ball to second base. Ryan McKay to his right, throws on the run and in time. A nice play, and 1 out in the 6th inning.
This infield's been asked for a number of difficult putouts, especially the middle infielders of Ryan McKay at second and Jackson Willits at short. Couple off-balance throws, and there he's got to go with his momentum away from the ball on the charge, and again, dip off balance to make that throw. Camacho as well, Max, at first, has dug out a few of those low throws.
Avery Ortiz getting his 3rd look tonight. 1 at bat against Tsubasa Tommy, 1 against Mason Russell. He walked against Russell back in the 4th inning, and he swings through the first pitch and falls behind 0-1. So far, Russell 2 1/3 deep. 1 hit, 1 run. It was earned. 1 walk and no strikeouts. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's taken away. That one well outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to the Y-D DH. Base is empty and 1 out. Here's the 1-1 offering. And it's a curveball chop foul down the 3rd base line out ahead. And Russell ahead 1-2.
And that pitch, the breaking ball you see there, Max, has been so key for him in these last 4 batters that he's put down in a row. Rather extend that to 5. And it's mostly been low on the corners, but it's worked for him.
On a 1-2 pitch, Ortiz takes a fastball up. 2 balls in, 2 strikes. Beautiful evening here at Red Wilson Field. Outfield straight away with nobody on base. 2-1 Y-D here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And the 2-2 offering is a fastball downstairs. Stone Lawless agrees or affirms the pitch, though. He liked it from his pitcher. But the count will run full. 1 walk in his relief appearance for Mason Russell. It was against this guy at the plate, Avery Ortiz, as the 3-2 pitch is swung on and hit foul into the parking lot. Harbor Hawks had the bases loaded in the 6th. They did plate 1 before, but they left them loaded. And as we mentioned, it's imperative that they keep the momentum rolling. There's a ground ball to 3rd. It stays fair for Jake Schaffner. On the backhand, a low throw dug out by Camacho. He scooped a couple of those this evening, and it's a 4-3, then it's a 5-3 to get us started here in the last of the 6th.
Including, Max, 2 low recoveries in a row at first base for Gabe Camacho. And we see how important it is to play clean defense. It's something that Mitch Carricker has stressed during this difficult patch for the Harbor Hawks, that the defense, especially from the middle infield where a lot of those ground balls are, has not been good enough. And tonight, they've sure put on a show.
Will Baker up for the third time tonight. An RBI double back in the fourth inning. Plated the second run of Y-D's 2 runs. He walked back in the second, so still yet to be retired by Hyannis pitching, and he takes a first pitch downstairs 1-0. Some professional courtesy as that one got the home plate umpire Joe Gravina. Walking over by the Y-D dugout.
It's like it just clipped off the mitt, it seems, of Lawless and ricocheted onto his lower chin. That's the area he's holding. And now a Y-D trainer offers some help as he wets his face with water. His umpires are volunteer. Remember that, Max, and they do such great work behind the plate. Tough cookie here in Joe Gravina.
So some applause from the fans here, and the count will resume at 1 ball and no strikes. Left on left with Will Baker. The pitch is downstairs. That one bounces in, gets all the way to the backstop. 2 balls and no strikes.
Stone Lawless has had to do that a lot in his last couple of appearances as the battery. Oddly enough, the last time he was here was Sunday against these Y-D Red Sox, where it felt like he was getting battered with balls that went 58 of the 60 feet from the rubber to the plate.
On a 2-0 pitch, Baker takes a fastball away. 3 balls and no strikes. That one probably the only pitch of the at-bat so far that threatened the zone. Russell has had some at-bats where he's jumped ahead, but other at-bats where it's just nothing consistent. 3-0 fastball, that's definitely a strike down the middle. And the count runs to 3 balls and 1 strike to Baker, who, as we mentioned, still yet to be retired tonight. Baker's 1 for 3 with a double last night at McKeon, and he walks here for the second time tonight. That's upstairs, ball 4.
You'd think, Max, given the night that he's had, and especially coming off that RBI double in the fourth, that it's green light all the way on 3-1. But that's the eye of a disciplined hitter and good situational baseball from Scott Pickler to let him take that pitch and get a base runner aboard for what can always be a dangerous hitter in the tall Will Gasparino.
So the 6'6" Gasparino digs in. First pitch fastball, a little bit upstairs, 1-0. Gasparino 0 for 2 with the strikeout back in the second inning. It was looking against Tsubasa Tommy. He lined out to the right fielder, Sawyer Black. A nice play that saved a run. A sliding grab from the UNC Tar Heel in right field. With Baker on first, a 1-0 pitch coming up. And he swings through a pitch in the dirt. We see him chase a curveball downstairs like that now multiple times tonight. Count even up at 1 ball and 1 strike here in a 2-1 Y-D lead in the last of the 6th inning. Here at Red Wilson Field, a 1-1 offering. Here's the pitch, and it's a chopped foul outside the third base line. And Mason Russell stays in the driver's seat, a ball and 2 strikes. It's probably another one that one wasn't in the dirt, but probably still a little bit downstairs, Gio.
It was, and that's what's so hard about being that height playing baseball is that lower part of the zone, especially where you've got to dip for those pitches to the knees like he has in this count, so hard to make contact with to the point where it questions the swing decision altogether.
Russell checks over at first, and Will Baker is back standing. 5 hits for Hyannis and only 2 for Y-D, but they've made him count. They've both been RBI extra base hits. And both of those runs came as a result of walks. Keep that in your back pocket. Only 4 walks for Hyannis pitching so far, but they've been costly. Another check at first. Baker back standing.
And that's torched Hyannis in this difficult patch for them. You know, short of last night's 8-inning win over Y-D, Hyannis walked a ton of batters in those last 2 games, 12 over the tie and loss.
1-2 offering to Gasparino. That's down in the dirt. Another curveball and an adjustment made by the 6'6" man.
And walks, Max, especially with 2 outs, forced Mason Russell and vicariously this defense to probably not take some chances they would to a hitter like Gasparino, because you can fool him low. Yet, if you miss your spot, he's got the power to leave the ballpark from anywhere.
2 outs in the inning, and Baker on first. A 2-2 pitch to Gasparino is fouled over our heads by the concession stands and by the parking lot. So a lengthy battle as well in this at-bat. That's the 5th pitch of the plate appearance. It'll go to 6. Hyannis has left 6 on base. Y-D 4. Long pause, and the 2-2 pitch is reached for and poke foul off to the right. Similar spot. So it'll be a 7-pitch plate appearance at the very least. 2-1 Red Sox here in the bottom of the 6th inning at Red Wilson Field. Mason Russell looking to make it through 3 innings of relief. So far 2 2/3, and the 2-2 pitch is ripped up the middle of center. Here comes the center fielder, Matt Mura, to hole in the final out of the inning. Well, they strand a walk on first base. We'll head to the top of the 7th inning. 2-1 Y-D.
Owning a home means you can protect your family and put down roots in a community you care about. It gives you a place to celebrate the joys of daily living and be together during tough times. But for many on Cape Cod, home ownership is slipping further out of reach. Help make sure the American dream is available to the teachers, public safety professionals, and all the other people who make the Cape a special place. Visit capehousingmatters.org to find out more.
We're at the final stretch, the last 3 innings. Top of the 7th inning from Red Wilson Field. Y-D on top of Hyannis 2-1. It'll be 8-9-1 up for Mitch Carricker, Jake Schaffner, Charlie Bates, Matt Mura, and Ryan McKay a chance if anybody gets on base. Hyannis left him loaded back in the 6th inning, but they did get an RBI single from Stone Lawless to cut the lead in half. But definitely they were looking for some more, so kind of an underwhelming way to end it, but it's important that they keep the momentum as we head to this 7th frame.
Yeah, Max, the big thing is that all of the hits for Hyannis have come with at least 1 out on the scoreboard. They haven't gotten a leadoff hit. They haven't gotten anybody on base with no outs. So if they're able to flip that around, it feels like that's going to be what gives them the best chance to tie up this ball game. But getting a standalone single with 2 outs and nobody on is not the way to fight back.
Jake Schaffner will come up for the 3rd time tonight. Only 1 at bat as he walked back in the 2nd inning, but grounded out in the 5th. Faces Derek Schaefer for the first time, and he takes outside ball 1. That was a fastball from the right-hander. Schaefer versus Schaffner, the 1-0. Fastball low, 2 balls and no strikes. They're planning for him to pull on the infield, a shift. Shortstop Cody Miller still on the shortstop side, but almost behind the bag as the 2-0 pitch swatted foul off to the left.
Derek Schaefer going to have to battle after a tough 6th inning, his first of work, but something that he's used to. He brought his ERA down from 9+ his freshman year to 5.29.
2-1 fastballs on the outer half. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Schaefer falls behind 2-0. He brings it back even at 2-2. Charlie Bates waiting on deck for Mitch Carricker. 2-2 pitch is hit high in the air to deep left field. A.J. Soldra going back with room to make the catch for the first out of the inning.
It was hit well by Schaffner. Took it to the other side. It's the 2nd time in as many at-bats that he's gone that way with the baseball, doing a good job of working it the opposite way. But First one was just on the ground, and that one pretty much right at A.J. Soldra.
Charlie Bates getting his third look at the plate today. He hammers the first pitch to left field. Soldier going back again towards the warning track and with room to make the catch. Well, Bates has given it a ride to left field twice this game now, but still nothing to show for it.
This is a much better game for him given this difficult stretch that he enters today with. Busy inning for A.J. Soldra as well, and that the hardest hit ball of the day for Charlie Bates. A nice crack of the bat. Max, even though it's not resulting in appearances along the base paths, it's got to feel good for Bates after a difficult stretch.
It'll feel better, that's for sure. Matt Mura for the fourth time tonight. 1 for 3, a single back in the third inning. The Hawaii Rainbow Warrior takes a pitch on the inside corner and falls behind 0-1. One and 2/3 innings so far for Schaefer. He's lowered his season ERA to 2.92. And he throws a fastball up and away, counting even a ball and a strike apiece. Two-one Red Sox here in the top of the seventh. And the 1-1 pitch is low. There's that curveball that just dips under the knees. And it swings in favor of Matt Mura.
Mura, he's done such a good job hitting in his past couple, but he hasn't drawn a walk in any of his last 6 games.
And he chops this one to shortstop. Charged by Cody Miller, throws on the run. He gets Mura by half a step. Hawks go down in order here in the 7th inning. We'll head to the bottom of the 7th inning. 2-1, Y-D.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
This week we've been working a lot with doing play-by-plays, just doing behind-the-scenes stuff with sports broadcasting, which I never really realized how much went into it, but it's been really cool.
They've grown a lot. I've never really done like a program like this before, so like seeing all the behind the scenes, so like really grown.
I've learned how to really just gain confidence in my play-by-play speaking, and I've learned more terms here when it comes to directing and producing. And I've just had a great time with John Rook.
Doing the play-by-play stuff and all that, being with a guy like John Rook, understanding what like the major kind of entails of doing this camp, just really a preview for what you do here at Dean or any other college doing broadcasting. So I'm definitely more prepared to make this a job of mine.
Back here at Red Wilson Field, 2-1 Y-D. And a new pitcher on the hill for Hyannis. It's Max Stammel.
Max Stammel making his second appearance of the 2025 Cape League season. His first was on June 25th against Brewster at McKeon Park. Went for 1 inning, no hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. And he's down, or coming into the ball game down 1 run. He's going to have to shut it.
And that closes the book on Mason Russell. He went 3 innings, 1 hit, 1 run. It was earned, 2 walks, and no Ks. But it's time for everybody's favorite segment. It's time to beat D-Bot. D-Bot, what's the record right now? I honestly can't even keep track.
We've won 1 in a row. That's all that matters.
All right.
We or you?
We. It's a team effort. It's a team effort.
All right, your player is a pitcher on the roster.
Of course it is.
And he tends.
It's been like 2 position players.
Cal Baptist.
Ha! Stop giving me West Coast schools. You're lucky you're handsome, Max. Let's see, Cal Baptist.
Okay, thanks.
He's drawing a blank.
You just don't know.
Crusaders.
Lancers.
Same thing.
That actually wasn't that far off.
Yeah, there you go.
Really, what is a Lancer?
Horse, maybe?
I think so, yeah.
How's that near a Crusader?
Because similar vibes. Crusader, Lancer, like they sound similar.
Yeah, you know. I think
Crusaders are often on horses.
Yes, exactly.
Garrett Wright leads it off, and Max Stammel, the sidewinder, throws a strike at the bottom of the zone.
You know, they talk about the 4th of July being a turning point in baseball season a lot. That's like a signature day in baseball. After the 4th, if you can really turn it on, that's what's important.
Right, lines it down the left field line. That's in for a base hit. Cut off nicely by Charlie Bates. That'll hold him to a long single.
7-9, there's a long season to go, a lot of time to go.
And as we keep using up these West Coast schools, we can't use them again.
Yeah.
So is going to bend in your favor eventually.
Yeah, you know, we only play Y-D once again, right? Yeah,
we play him on the 15th, I believe.
So
At
eventually,
home.
I'll get an easy one. If I can go 2 for 2 with them, and then 3 and 2 with the West Division teams, I'm feeling pretty good.
Jack Bell takes a little bit off the plate.
Horned Frogs. See you guys.
Thanks, D-Bot.
Check over at first, and Garrett Wright back standing. 1-0 the count to Bell. 5 hits for Hyannis, 3 for Y-D. But as we mentioned, the walks have proved costly. Both walks Hyannis has issued have come across the score. A bunt attempt by Jack Bell. No official signal. I believe he went, and he went 1 and 2. That one got a big piece of Joe Gravina. Count is actually 1-1. The scoreboard's off by a pitch. Gravina's been hit pretty hard this game. He had one off the face mask, and he gets one right there. As mentioned, these umpires are volunteers. 1-1 pitch to Bell. Up and in. A fastball well high from the sidewinder.
And a good save from Lawless. A little snow cone in his glove. Was barely able to keep that in and prevent Garrett Wright from taking second.
Man on and nobody out. And the 2-1 offering. Bell takes a slider on the outside corner. That's got to be a tough pitch to face. Left on left. He's throwing basically from behind your ear with that sidewinder motion. Goes coast to coast from the inside part of the plate to the outside and clips the corner. On a 2-2 pitch, Bell swings and misses. He goes back to the slider. And on cue, there's strikeout number 1.
Low arm slot from Max Stammel compared to the two guys we've seen. It's got to be, he didn't mess up Garrett Wright, but Bell confused on the breaking ball there across the zone. Now flip the order for Stammel. This a good thing for Hyannis that you don't get Mason Russell to see the order for a second time. And now Stammel's got a fresh arm, and this order coming up for a 4th time in this game.
Braden Dowd, who had that RBI triple back in the 3rd inning, takes a slider right on the outside corner, so that's now 3 consecutive sliders to left-handed hitters. That triple was his first hit against Hyannis this season. Previously, he was 0 for 9 with 4 strikeouts. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Dowd swings and misses through a fastball.
And he was so late to that pitch. That's what happens when you can change speeds, yo-yo your pitches a little bit. Stammel started out with that slider that came in pretty slow and then right back to the heat. And Dowd was well late.
Garrett right at first. The 0-2 bounces in, and Wright's on the move. Lawless throws to second, and it's not in time. A wild pitch. The second wild pitch of the game for Hyannis pitching.
2 wild pitches, a hit by pitch, and then 4 walks for Hyannis. That is really going to be what they look back at in this ball game, win or lose, and say, we need to clean this up.
On a 1-2 pitch, Dowd strikes out swinging. Wipeout slider, and the left-on-left matchup prevails once again for Max Stammel.
And those are the first 2 strikeouts for Stammel since the 3rd inning. It's come in other ways for Hyannis, and credit Mason Russell for a job well done in relief of Tsubasa Tommy. But now Stammel going to the K, which is Hyannis' calling card all year long.
It's now 6 strikeouts for Harbor Hawks pitching. Harbor Hawks only struck out 7 last night. I say only because, I mean, literally on Wednesday or on Tuesday they struck out 18. I mean, this is a team that sports a 10.8 strikeouts per 9. First pitch to Cody Miller is a fastball at the bottom of the zone, strike 1.
And amazingly, Max is a team that's got it better than that in Falmouth. Over 170 Ks for the season.
Lots of wipe out stuff on the Cape. A man in scoring position for Y-D. They're up 2-1 here in the last of the 7th. And the 0-1 pitch is a fastball on the inside corner. 0-2. No lights here at Red Wilson Field. The sun has sort of gone over the trees. So not quite twilight, but still a little bit less gloomy. Here's the 0-2 pitch. The offering is launched to right field. On the run, Matt Mura towards the gap. He gets there and makes a running catch. Nice play. Well, Y-D strands a runner. We'll head to the top of the 8th inning. 2-1 Red Sox.
Your future begins at Dean College.
Make a difference. Leave your mark.
Break the mold.
Be a leader.
Achieve unimagined heights.
Believe in yourself.
Make lifelong friends.
This is your time.
Your place.
Your home. Your Dean.
It all starts here at Dean College.
Back here at Red Wilson Field, we head to the top of the 8th inning. It's getting late. Hyannis trails Y-D 2-1. They do have more hits at 5, Y-D with 3. The Harbor Hawks have left on base a couple. And that's been something that has been a theme over the last couple of weeks. They've left 6 on base. Y-D's left on 6 as well. But we mentioned only 4 walks in the day for Hyannis pitching, but both runs for Y-D have come as a result as one of those walks.
Yeah, the free passes. And every time we talk to Mitch Carricker, it seems like he brings it up. The walks are something that he would love to see decreased, and it was yesterday in the first of this 2-game stretch against Y-D, where Hyannis only walked 1. But they've kind of slipped back into their old ways of walking multiple, right around that 4-5 mark. And that really gives their opponents second chances. It gives them chances to get ahead, pull ahead, get back into a ball game, whatever they need in a given time.
Ryan McKay getting his 4th look tonight. 2 for 3. A single in the first, a single in the 6th. He did ground into a momentum-changing 1-6-3 double play back in the 3rd. First pitch from Derek Schaefer as golf fell to the screen, 1-0-1. They're planning for him to pull on the infield. Second baseman Will Baker shaded towards first. And McKay swings through the fastball and falls behind 0-2.
He was well late to that pitch. Schaefer blew it right past him. And all he's got to do, it feels like, is poke one opposite way and he'll have a base hit.
Now with 2 strikes, they play really towards the pull side, and he slaps it foul to the screen. Now the third baseman, Jack Bell, equidistant between second and third base, and the shortstop, Cody Miller, on the second base side of the bag. On an 0-2 pitch, McKay pokes it foul off to the left and out of play. The Hyannis dugout very much so in this game. They're really affirming foul balls, good takes. We saw it a lot in that big inning in the 6th, and we see it with nobody out here in the top of the 8th. Harbor Hawks trailing 2-1, but the tying run is at the plate and Ryan McKay. 0-2 fastball up and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. McKay second on the Cape with a .373 average. Only trails Josiah Ragsdale of Brewster. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The pitch is grounded off of McKay, painfully so. A foul ball outside the first base line, and he's going to have to walk this one off. Joe Gravina, the home plate umpire, professional courtesy, walking the baseball out to the mound to Derek Schaefer.
That looked like it hurt, but Ryan McKay did such a good job getting to that ball. He was one that he totally golfed out of the lower part of the plate. That might have even been touching the plate by the time he got the bat to the ball, because that's how low it was.
A ball and 2 strikes. The pitch is slap foul to the backstop, and we'll do it again at very pitch heavy. Or I guess what I'm trying to say is they're seeing a lot of pitches, which only plays into their advantage.
Yeah, they're pesky outs, every single one of them. It takes so much to get them down.
On a 1-2 pitch, McKay golfs it down the third base line, but it's a foul ball. Hyannis dugout really wanted that one. From our vantage point, I did think it was a foul ball. And I do actually think we have, in this situation, a better view of that third base line than they do.
Yep, right on the first base line by the on-deck circle. J.C. Fernandez, the third base umpire, got down to all fours to get out of the way of that one. It took a hop just on the shade of the line and dribbled foul, and I think he makes the right call.
This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat. Derek Schaefer working out of the windup. The 1-2 offering. McKay launches left center field. A.J. Soldier on the run looking up, and he's there to make the catch for the first out of the inning.
That is the long fly out to left of many of them. In the last 3 frames alone, that is the 4th fly ball to left field and the 5th of the game. A.J. Soldier has caught every one.
I mean, Hyannis only 5 outs to work with, but they're really seeing Derek Schaefer well. Schaefer now through 2 1/3 innings of relief of Brady Hamilton. Bases empty and 1 out for Jackson Willits. 1 for 2 with a walk. And he chops the first pitch foul outside the first base dugout.
Really surprised that none of these fly balls to deep left field have left because the wind is blowing directly from home plate to left field, totally helping that ball fly, but it's just so hard to leave this ballpark.
2-1 Y-D here in the top of the 8th. And the 0-1 to Willits is a fastball downstairs, and the count levels at a ball and a strike apiece. Only 2 strikeouts for Red Sox pitching. Hyannis has put the ball in play today, and they're seeing it well. The 1-1 to Willits is swung through, pulled the string with the changeup, and Derek Schaefer jumps ahead, a ball and 2 strikes. Now with the 2-strike count, they'll shift him to pole. Jack Bell, the third baseman, playing equidistant again between second and third. The 1-2 offering, fastball up and away. Count level at 2.
That was a good pitch. We've seen a couple of those get called for strikes, and Schaefer must have just been away from the plate. It even had Jackson Willits hopping a little bit because it was so close.
On a 2-2 pitch, Willits golfs the ball to second base. Will Baker fields and fires to first. Harbor Hawks putting up lengthy at-bats, but they're not able to find any green grass. Now only 4 outs to work with. Gabe Camacho coming up to the plate. He flew out to very deep right field back in the 6th inning. Another ball that we thought had a good chance of leaving.
Just haven't been flying today for both sides.
Camacho left-handed hitter. First pitch fastball on the outer half. Or excuse me, off the plate, 1-0.
And Camacho's got serious power. He, again, Max, as you mentioned tonight, he has been here for a while. Not activated to the 22nd. And we've seen in batting practice, he launches them.
Ahead 1-0. The pitch from Schaefer is ripped to second. First off the glove of Chris Hakopian, and it scoots in the right field. He smashed it. We'll see how that gets ruled. It was hit hard, but it looked like he had a glove on it. And that could be a difference maker in this game. We've talked about free passes in a way, or freebies. We could be coming back to that pitch with the big bad Stone Lawless coming up.
We could, but again, Max, the opportunities on base with 2 outs, that's been the entire game for Hyannis. They haven't been able to get those base hits or get over to first with no outs or even 1 out on the scoreboard.
Stone Lawless attacks the first pitch and lines it in the left field. That's in for a base hit in front of Soldra. Well, there we go. So it's an E3 that allowed Camacho to reach. And then Stone Lawless deposits his second hit of the game. And the Harbor Hawks, the tying run at second base, the go-ahead run at first. Sawyer Black coming up to the plate.
A couple of hard-hit balls. 105 off the bat on the error for Gabe Camacho. That's his second over 100 miles an hour in this game, and Lawless with another hard crack there. And now they're starting to get to Schaefer, Max. You said it all day long that they've seen him well, just hasn't been able to find the green grass. And eventually you start seeing the ball like that, they'll drop.
A meeting of the minds at the mound. Garrett Wright talking to his pitcher, Derek Schaefer. Joe Gravina goes over to break it up. And that meeting is over now. 2-1 Y-D here in the top of the 8th inning. Harbor Hawks threatening once more. They've left 6 on base this game. They have 6 hits to Y-D's 3, but they trail by 1 run. Left-handed hitting Sawyer Black with an RBI single, who walked back in the 6th inning, up for the 4th time tonight. First pitch, changeup downstairs in the dirt, 1-0.
Now a tough task for Garrett Wright behind the dish to keep everything in front of him. The last thing you want is the go-ahead run to be able to take second base and the tying run 90 feet away.
Schaefer coming from the stretch. The 1-0 offering. Fastball at the top of the zone. And the count even up at 1-1. Sawyer Black playing in his first game in months. We mentioned that handmade bone injury. Reduced his playing time to 19 games his freshman year at UNC. 1-1, changeup downstairs. And the count swings in Black's favor. 2 balls and 1 strike.
We talked at length this season about the adjustment for a lot of these guys coming off the college baseball season and not having played for a while. How about having to do that for Sawyer Black and recover from an injury?
Camacho on second, Lawless on first. On a 2-1, Black takes a fastball at the knees. Count level at 2.
Hyannis dugout not very happy about that one. It was right in that buffer zone. Could have been low, could have been pinpointed. And Gravina says it just caught the zone.
2s are everywhere. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on. 2-1, Y-D the lead here in the top of the 8th. The pitch to Black is fouled off himself. We'll do it again. And we saw Black work a 10-pitch walk back in the 6th inning. And his at-bats, while he hasn't reached on a base hit yet today, have looked really impressive for a guy getting his first live action in a couple months. 2 ducks on the pond for Hyannis. A 2-2 pitch coming up to Black. The offering. Chopped over the mound. It's hit very slow. Charged by Cody Miller. He throws to first. Not in time. They got Camacho hung up at third in between in a rundown. They run it to the catcher. Camacho evades the tag. Now he's coming back home. Back to the catcher, Garrett Wright. Camacho on his way to third. The throw. In time. Hyannis runs itself into an out here in the 8th inning. A crazy change of events. 2-1 Y-D will head to the bottom of the 8th from Red Wilson Field.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
Hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
Bottom of the 8th inning, Y-D looking for some insurance. Hyannis has had their opportunities, to say the least. The top of the 8th inning kind of ended in a crazy fashion. The official ruling is that Sawyer Black singled on a ground ball to Cody Miller at short. Gabe Camacho, who got in that big rundown, was called out at home. Shortstop Cody to third baseman Jack Bell, back to the shortstop, back to the catcher, and then back to the third baseman. A crazy rundown and an opportunity for the Red Sox to use this momentum to jump back in the driver's seat. Of course, they're up 2-1. Hyannis has 6 hits to their 3, but the Harbor Hawks, time's running out. 3 outs left to work with.
Yeah, Max, and you mentioned it between innings that that pump fake from Cody Miller could be a decisive decision, or rather a choice from him here, as it fooled Camacho to try and come home as he thought he was going to throw to first base. Then you get Camacho in the rundown. You look at that. You look at some of the the swing decisions tonight, the pitch recognition. It's certainly, if a couple things go each way, you could tip the scales one way or the other.
Chris Hakopian takes a first pitch strike at the knees from Max Stammel. On the 0-1 pitch, Hakopian looks out one downstairs. Stammel with that sidewinder arm slot from the left side. Hakopian, an 0-for-3 day. He struck out back in the first inning, his first strikeout of the summer. Since then, he's grounded out twice, and he swings through a pitch here, 1-2, a rare swing and miss. Base is empty and nobody out here in the last of the 8th. On a 1-2 pitch, Hakopian strikes out swinging. Well, look at that. 2 strikeouts, his first 2 strikeouts of the summer. 2 strikeouts now in 65 plate appearances.
He's been such a hard out to get this season, but Hyannis has gotten him out all 4 times that he's come up to the plate.
Currently 2 hours and 16 minutes into this game in the bottom of the 8th inning. A.J. Soldra at the plate. Left on left. So far the left on lefts for Max Stammel have been very good, and he bloops one to center field. That's going to fall for a base hit. So on cue, the announcer jinx gets Max Stammel a 1-out single here in the 8th inning.
It was a good swing from Soldier, just kind of fighting one off in on the hands. Got it to go right over Jackson Willits at short and drop right in front of Matt Mura in center. And that could be exactly what can fuel the Red Sox to their insurance run that, like you said, Max, they would very much so like to have at this point. Only a 1-run lead, and Hyannis stranding 3 on base in 2 of the last 3 innings.
Avery Ortiz for the 4th time. Looks at a ball inside, 1-0. Ortiz struck out back in the 2nd, walked in the 4th, and grounded out in the 6th. Hyannis pitching has been spectacular, but we mentioned 4 walks, and 2 of those walks costly, resulting in both runs that the Y-D Red Sox have. 1-0 pitch to Ortiz is at the knees, and the count levels at a ball and a strike apiece with 1 out in the inning and a man on base. Long pause on the hill for Max Stammel. Now he comes home. Ortiz swings and pops it foul off to the right and out of play to the parking lot. (2-1) Y-D in the bottom of the 8th. Red Sox looking for insurance. Harbor Hawks looking to stop that and score and tie this game or take a lead in the 9th. Check over at first, and A.J. Soldra back with the dive.
And for the Harbor Hawks, it feels like it's going to come down to their ability to get on base in the top of the next inning without an out on the scoreboard. The leadoff batters have really struggled.
1-2 in there for strike 3. Ortiz down on strikes for the 2nd time tonight. It's a big out number 2 here in the 8th.
And how about K number 4 for Max Stammel after the Harbor Hawks went 3 full frames without punching out a batter? He looks dialed in on 2-ball counts tonight.
Will Baker, who's reached all 3 times, a walk in the 2nd, a double, RBI double back in the 4th, and a walk in the 6th. Coming up, has not been retired. With Soldier on first, the first pitch left on left is grounded softly to second base. Ryan McKay picks it on the short hop and fires to first in time for the final out of the 8th inning. Well, Hyannis, it's going to come down to the wire. We'll head to the top of the 9th. Harbor Hawks down 2-1.
You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it, players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Well, it's the final countdown on the 4th of July. Hyannis down 2-1 in the top of the 9th inning. Hayden Federico will lead off, and Derek Schaefer's day is done. We got a new pitcher in Bo Rudy.
Rudy comes in, a rising sophomore out of Chickamauga, Georgia. Kennesaw State Shocker last spring, headed to the Tennessee Volunteers. This is the second time that Hyannis will see Rudy here at Red Wilson Field. On Sunday, he went 1 inning, allowed 2 runs for Hyannis to get back into the game in relief of Zach Harris after 2 1/3. At a 3.16 ERA this past spring for the Shockers following that, or rather, the ERA ballooned max to 3.16. It was sub-3 at some point this year for Bo Rudy. He allowed 2 earned runs against Western Kentucky, his final start of the year. And so he comes into the Cape off that rocky appearance, but did a decent job in relief of Zach Harris after Hyannis tagged him for runs early.
And a pretty good showing for Schaefer on the mound. 3 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, which was earned, 2 walks, no strikeouts. His ERA currently standing at 2.63.
Hayden Federico to lead off, looking for redemption. He stranded the bases loaded back in the 6th inning. His last time out, he flew out to deep left field. Was 2 for 3 yesterday with an RBI single, but 0 for 3 tonight. And the first pitch fastball from Bo Rudy is in there for strike 1.
And Federico trying to break an 0-for streak to start this one. The fly out to left was just on the track for A.J. Soldra.
Hyannis has flown out to deep left field on multiple occasions tonight. Gabe Camacho had a deep fly out to right field as well. 0-1 fastball up and away, and the count levels at 1.
Hayden Federico, despite his 0 for day, he's had really good plate discipline. He hasn't really expanded the zone. He's just gotten on top of or just underneath the balls he's hit.
1-1 pitch is fouled into the catcher's mitt of Garrett Wright. And Bo Rudy jumps into the driver's seat, a ball and 2 strikes.
Does it with the challenge fastball there, Max. I imagine he'll go back to a similar pitch in a similar spot for Federico, upper corner and at the hands.
The switch hitter has batted left-handed this entire game, and he swats the pitch foul off to the left out of play. We'll do it again at 1-2. Well, I caught up with Hayden yesterday, and he told me that righty is the dominant side. But you also got to figure these guys get more reps as a left-handed hitter because there's more right-handed pitchers, so still a level of comfort right there. On a 1-2, he swats it foul off to the left. We'll do it again, and the battle continues.
He sure looks comfortable here, Max. And we also have talked with Hayden about, or you also talked with Hayden about the fact that switch hitting is a dying art, and that if you, a lot of times you find a side you're comfortable from, you're going to swing from that side all around. But here it's obviously the righty-lefty.
On a 1-2, Federico rips it to short, and it gets by the dive of Cody Miller and in the left center field. A leadoff single for Hayden Federico, and the Harbor Hawks have life here in the top of the 9th inning.
Only the second time in this ball game that Hyannis has gotten their leadoff batter aboard. The first time was Matt Mura back in the 3rd inning, and then Ryan McKay right after grounded into a double play. So for Jake Schaffner, that's job number 1 right now, is do not ground into that double play like Ryan McKay did in the 3rd.
2-1 Y-D here in the top of the 9th inning. Hawks looking to tie it with the tying run on first. Schaffner shows the bunt. It gets away from the catcher, Garrett Wright, and Federico advances another 90 feet. A wild pitch, and the wheels are starting to come off here for the Red Sox in the 9th inning.
I thought that might have hit Jake Schaffner. Sprung out of the way, but he's got the awareness to send Hayden Federico to first base.
Tying run 180 feet away at second base in Hayden Federico. Jake Schaffner 0 for 2 with a walk out of the 8th spot for Mitch Carricker. Shows the bunt again and fouls it off to the left.
It's a great play from Schaffner to try and lay that bunt down. You only need the one, so you got to get it 90 feet. And depending on the location of that bunt, for Schaffner, he's got the speed to leg out an infield single as well.
Federico on second. And a 1-1 count to Schaffner. He shows the bunt again. He gets it down. Back to the pitcher. Bo Rudy Fields now fires to first. The sacrifice is complete as Federico takes third base with 1 out in the inning. And what a story unraveling here. Charlie Bates 0 for 3 today. 0 for his last 16 with 9 strikeouts. He's hit the ball well today, but a chance to change the entire narrative with 1 swing here. We've talked a lot this season that the most important play, the most important pitch, the most important at-bat in the game of baseball is the next at-bat. The Red Sox bring the infield in. Bates takes a first pitch fastball at the top of the zone. The Harbor Hawks dugout does not love that call from Joe Gravina. Bates looking to elevate the baseball. On a 1-0 pitch. 0-1 pitch, it's up and away. But a late strike call. They said he went around. That's the third base umpire said he went around.
This would be a really difficult out for Charlie Bates, who's put together a much better game despite continuing to struggle with 0 for 3. Let's see what he can muster up here in a 2-strike count.
The 0-2 to Bates. Swung on a miss, strike 3. And Federico still at third, but now 2 outs in the inning.
It's the first strikeout in 4 frames for the Red Sox, and it comes with that challenge pitch from Bo Rudy again, Max. And just a tough day for Charlie Bates to go along with a tough week.
Matt Miura looking for his signature moment. The beast of the East, the best of the West. Federico at third base. 2-1 Y-D here in the top of the 9th inning. First pitch to Miura, fastball. Gets the call at the top of the zone. The Harbor Hawks dugout remains vocal about their disapproval of Joe Gravina behind the plate. Miura a single back in the 3rd inning. A 1 for 4 day for the Hawaii Rainbow Warrior. Rudy steps off the mound, having trouble with his pitch comm. You could just feel the momentum shift away from Hyannis after that strikeout. 0-1 to Miura, fastball up and in. And the count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Ryan McKay waits on deck for Hyannis. Miura, a team leading 10 RBIs. On a 1-1 pitch, Miura swings and misses. One ball and 2 strikes. Hyannis down to their final strike. Harbor Hawks looking to tie this game with the chance of sweeping this home away series against Y-D. On a 1-2 pitch, Miura takes outside. And a lunging stop from Garrett Wright behind the plate.
It's amazing how Matt Miura has flipped philosophies for this big moment. We've seen him first pitch swinging on 3 or 4 at-bats tonight. Now he's laying off because he knows how critical a spot this is, Max.
2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch swung on and missed, strike 3. Hyannis loses a heartbreaker on the 4th of July as the tying run is stranded at third base in Hayden Federico. The Harbor Hawks walked 4 in this game. A lot of the damage was the left on base at the plate, but those two of the 4 walks proved costly in this 2-1 decision.
Yeah, the walks again coming back to bite Hyannis, along with a hit batsman, and then just a couple base running mistakes as well. You think back to Ryan McKay getting picked off in the top of the 1st, and then also Gabe Camacho getting caught in that rundown in the 8th with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Those are the big two errors, the big costly mistakes that are going to come back to bite Hyannis, or that have come back to bite Hyannis, as they only lose by 1.
Hyannis leaves 9 on base in this game. Y-D leads 6. Harbor Hawks will split this series, the home away series, as they won yesterday at McKeon. They lose today here at Red Wilson Field. Before we end, a couple people we want to thank: our producers, Charlie Adams, Daniel Bottolino, Sam Montag. For our sideline reporters, Ava Fernandez and Ethan Wax. For Graham Nash and Giovanni Collada, I'm Max Schwartzberg saying thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.